And finally, we are live on YouTube as well. Sorry about that. I was busy with the intro there, and when it just cut out, looked like we are fully in it now. So welcome, like I said, round 7, Bahrain. Yeah, already round 7, quite a quick season so far. Of course, joining me in the comms box tonight is one of the guys that you saw on track before, trying his luck at commentary tonight. Welcome, Mr. Devin Alice. And of course, we're doing something different tonight. We're actually doing a dual streaming session, one stream on Twitch, and of course, one stream on YouTube, but we're providing the same commentary. So both voices you will hear on both channels at the same time. Yeah, so Q1, just over 13 minutes to go. Because Vino 128, currently the fastest 128.5, where Safwan Quinter did a 128.8, so not bad times already. And I mean, this is only the start of Q1, so it's going to be a fast one by the looks of it. Only Q1, you normally see the times at its best later on. Force already using mediums, but again, not a bad time on those mediums. And by the end of the day, it's actually not a bad idea saving that extra set of softs, because as it is, there's 15 drivers, and all 15 actually will make it through to the next session, provided they don't crash out. Because obviously, as Devin mentioned earlier, you have the 3 sessions, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Of course, at Q1, the top 15 goes through, and there's only 15. Of course, then at the end of Q2, only the top 10 will go through. So to Q3, so that top 10 ultimately do the pole shootout. And it's worth it because the pole sitter gets an extra 6 points, and that 6 points can be very handy, especially how the championship sits at the moment. Of course, at the moment, just to let everybody know what we're talking about, if you look at the first 2 guys, not Sebastian leading, followed by Nismax, and there's only 2 points in it. And then, of course, Boinky's in 3rd place. He's 16 points off Nismax. And Quinton just 4 points off him. And 1 point behind Quinton is not Kimi. So those top 5 pretty much. And even Gaffbeek in 6 at the moment, 106 points. They're all really much still in it. Because it's 20 points for a win and 25 for 2nd place. So only 5 points difference. And of course, that extra 6 points for a pole. And then extra 2 points if you get fastest lap, and of course not to mention the extra points that you get for being a full team on the grid. So still everything to play for. But still out lap, so not really too much to worry about. Of course, you don't want to run too wide, because when you get obviously your next lap, which is going to be the first hot lap for him, also invalidated, and then you have to do it all over again. Completely bonkers. Just that corner that not Fernando came around now, that's the big one that everybody's dreading. Here we go, we see also not Kimi coming here. There's the exact corner here. There's a bit of a downhill going towards the left. You you're pretty much in 5th or 6th by the time you come to that corner and when to hit the brakes plus turning. It's so easy to lose the rear end there. Not Kimmy in the meantime, it's wow, ever so slightly faster than Vino. I mean, if you look at it, 3,000ths of a second. All in the 128s, yeah. Now 128.5 and then just Quintus slightly off, but still 4 guys in the 128s already. And when you have 5 guys in 129, so 129, hey, you know what, as I said, all 15 will go through, just make sure that they don't crash. But already this lap times already. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one as quali progress. Let's just hope it stays like that. Just under 9 minutes of course to go, so anything, yeah, it's all about having fun of course. So thank you Ronnie obviously confirming no rain, which is normally the case here in the desert. It's very seldom we see rain, but thanks for that Ronnie for a change back on his weekly duty. It's always between him and staff who can get there first. Like to get the weather report from one of the drivers just to give us an idea in the comms box what to expect. And gas peak a 128.0. Oh wow. Let's hope he can keep this up because he is testing some good points. Of course, the race winner there in Australia. And as I said earlier, he's still pretty much in it. He just needs some good finishes. And of course, and if he can keep this up, that can be pole. That is extra 6 points plus him in front. So it's just him keeping his cool. That is Vos and the judge. They all part of Vlakke Fontaine Racing. That's the full name for the team. Of course, those cars, yeah, they get each get 3 points. Sorry for interrupting you there. Of course, Vlakke Fontaine. That's the Gav pick here. We're running on board. All three, of course, got that livery. Vos with a slightly more reddish one, as I call it, the jelly bean car. Because if you look at that car, it looks more like a packet of jelly beans. But quite a unique livery. Vlakke Fontaine, of course, we all know for reasons why that name. And yeah, so they in a team, of course, and then we got all 3 knots, not Kimi, not Sebastian, and not Fernando. They all in not sober racing. And of course, so both teams actually, all drivers get extra 3 points, but so is Oceans Free because we're Springbok Gamer, and we got Staffy and we got Boinkies. They all in Oceans Free. And then, of course, the boys from BPP, of course, one of Devon's friends, Chen. Chen is helping them out tonight, also one of the reserve drivers. Chen standing in there for Mr. RJDV 2000. So with Nismax and Safwan Quinton, the BPP. So for most of you might have already figured that out, the pink color, everything, but I will not mention on live stream what that name really means. I was getting to that. Thank you, Devon. You were speeding it up. I was actually hoping because Nismax's wife is actually one of our regulars. There was a season where I virtually almost had on the chat every Friday, posting some comments. To Nismax and Yvette, from all of us here, all the boys, we want to say a big congratulations to both of you, becoming mummy and daddy for the 2nd time earlier this week. A proud baby boy, Bjorn. We hope little Bjorn bring you guys much happiness. I'm sure it will. Of course, I know Daddy's happy having a little boy there. Of course, lots of rugby and some racing one day. So, of course, that tradition will carry through. But then again, don't count out little daughter. I mean, women also nowadays do the sim races. It's not just a guy thing. Oh wow. I said it earlier tonight. In 10-15 years from now, you're going to have little Nismax and little Not Kimi actually kicking our rear ends on this game. Of course, by then it will not be this. I mean, 15 already later will be like 2035. F1 2035. It sounds weird, but yeah, that's pretty much where it's going to be. I'll leave that to you. You can comment on that. That personally, you know what, as with regards to him leaving, that doesn't really come as a surprise. You know the old saying, where there's smoke, there's always fire. And there's been rumors like last year already about him being done. So, and just before the whole lockdown thing, there was some rumors about it again. And of course, his contract was up for renewal. And they say both parties agreed not to continue. So I'm not sure if Vettel is done with F1 if he actually wants to stay, but like you said, where is he going to go? Because I won't go to Renault. I think at the moment McLaren is even a better bet, which is why I think Ricardo made a better move now going to McLaren, and not in the too distant future McLaren will go back to Merc engines, and we all know what McLaren did on Merc previously. I mean, championship winning cars, so it's possible. Then I don't, unless he goes for a really small team and help them, but what's the point of that? Then, of course, Sainz with Ferrari. This is the first time that I recall that Ferrari ever had a lineup this young. I mean, if you look at Leclerc is like, I mean, not even 21 yet, if I'm not mistaken, or just 21. Sainz also in his early 20s. This is the youngest lineup Ferrari ever had. Would not have been a bad idea, a bad move by Ferrari, because Danny Rick, he's one of those guys that gives it all, and we saw with some of the moves he pulled off at Red Bull. Boom. And the thing is, Sainz is young, but if you look at what Sainz already did with McLaren last season, McLaren not the strongest car, but I mean, where did he bring that car back on some occasions? So, you know what, maybe that's what you want for a change. Go a new guy, and the new guy can push, because also, they took a big gamble with Leclerc. And what did Leclerc do in his first season, being that young? Leclerc literally got up there and he was in Vettel's face. If it wasn't for Singapore, I mean, Leclerc would have had all Ferrari's wins last season. So maybe they opened up their eyes, stop discriminating against young guys. Young guys might be the way to go. But I personally believe if it comes to a number one, number two scenario, Ferrari will pretty much back Leclerc. And I think that might be one of the reasons why Vettel is gone, because he realized Leclerc is the future. And pretty much this whole downward spiral trend from Vettel started in 2018 when he crashed when the rain just started pouring down at Hockenheim, because he never really was himself since then, and that ultimately would have been his year for a championship for Ferrari. But of course, after that, the championship actually went out the door. Yeah. And I don't think he's done with motor racing. He's done with F1, but not with motor racing. He's going to pop up somewhere else. Yes, success elsewhere. Dakar, Le Mans. I mean, even Indy. So Alonso tried it all, and I mean, he had success with Le Mans. So why not do something like that? It's not all about F1. But there's life after F1. He just proved it. There we go. That is the session. Of course, we're not a lot of talking. We're talking about real life stuff at the moment because this is just like a dress rehearsal, really. Because as I said at the beginning, all 15 drivers are through to the next session. A couple of guys just have problems, just for the sake of RZDV there. From first down, it's basically Gafpik, not Kimi, Vino, Boinkies, not Sebastian, Quinton, Nismax, Forsven in 8th, Staffy 9th, and Chen finishing the top 10. Then, of course, 80-77 then 11th, followed by Not Fernando, Carter Boy, Springbok Gamer, and the judge. But of course, this was just to get a lap on. It all matters now. As Devon said earlier, the tyre that they post their best lap on will be the tyre they start the race on, so you don't want to take too much out of those tyres. And of course, this is about strategy, so you might see some of the guys come out on mediums with a few on softs. I won't guard. Personally, being a career mode, being online, and it's not just me, I also heard when some of the other guys mentioned it, the hard tire on this game is not like what you might have seen on previous versions. Personally, I like the medium, because the medium, you can push far, it's faster than the hard, and it actually comes back to you at a later stage. So just as you think it goes off, you actually get some more out of it. And we've seen it before. The final lap of a race is the fastest lap is the last lap, and it's done on medium. So I would rather go mediums. And even if you go with a mediums, you can still borderline a one stopper, maybe two stopper. But because those mediums, you can really push it. It's all about just what pace you get. And of course, if you look after your tires, and Bahrain is not that of an abrasive track. Of course, at night it's cooler. Of course, when when Bahrain, of course, was still run during daytime. Of course, it was a different story. Much hotter. Tires obviously were going off quicker. So, I would say, to be safe side, fast two-stopper, because I think a two-stopper will be actually faster than a one-stop. Of course, with Quinton, I'm gonna go like boring. That's nothing new for him, because that's Quinton's move. Because he actually managed to do this, and actually race after race, I've seen him doing this. Even not just here. I also have a privilege of commentating with midweek racing on a Tuesday evening. He do the same thing there. He actually kind of like perfected this way to start on the mediums, and then have a longer first stint, and then change over to the softer tire, and then the speed comes. Of course, all good and well, but you rely on getting a good start, a good clean start, and not running into somebody, because if you make early contact with somebody, that strategy is out the door. On those mediums, of course. One of the BPP boys. Some of these guys took it really serious if you look at the race suits and helmets and stuff. Of course, with the multiplayer cars, all these names are actually our custom, as well as for liveries. So each team had to work together, design their liveries, as well as come up with a team name. And 3 drivers in the team compared to your usual 2. Just doing something different this season, and even the points are different. And it's actually paid dividend, because if you look at how close the championship is with the drivers. But the constructors is a bit of a different thing, because BPP, they actually hit with some margin. And if you look at last week, we also had a good race, a good weekend. The crew of Not Sober, who's second, only had 1 finish, so BPP actually managed to open up that gap handsomely. So I think constructors look like BBP, but it's not confirmed yet. Even if they are that far ahead, anything can still happen. Of course, the drivers is still all to race for. Safwan Quinton a 135, nah, he can do better than that. No, not even on mediums, and I know he can do better than that. We saw 120, we see 128 on soft, so that should be at least be a 130, 131. So I think just a slow lap. Yeah, and he's on mediums. There you go. There's confirmation. Thanks for proving me right, Steph. That is where you can actually run with his medium. So he didn't have a good lap. Yes, yes. And normally, if you look at past experiences, Quinton is the faster driver there. Normally in front. I'm not saying, you know what, these guys, if it's a better track for them, you have those tracks where some guys actually outshine the others because we all have our favorite tracks. And if you're so confident with that track, that's when you actually do your best. So, Vino obviously also with a very slow lap. But Judge 135 as well on mediums. So it's like all the medium guys set a lap so far. Boinky's also out on mediums. Oh, big moment there for Vino. Yes. But I think, I'm not sure if they're going to take that online or if it's just limited to career mode. But because at the end of the day, if you look at online, it's just you jump in a car and you drive. You don't really go into detail like building your own team up. So I think that's going to be more of a career thing. But they would be silly, in my mind, to take out something like this multiplayer car and the customization. They should leave that. That's definitely because I see a lot of people like this. And besides, it's nice actually driving in your own car in leagues and not in a Ferrari or a McLaren or Renault. Because each guy have a unique livery which makes him stand out. And I actually like that. But then again, it depends from driver to driver. Not everybody likes the multiplayer car because there's already been a few not so good comments because people feel it's understeers. But for me, you know, it's all about the mind. It's all how you set up it in your mind. Because if you set up this car properly, it's just as good as a F1 car. To be honest, I actually had people saying that this feels like a Ferrari, like the old Ferraris. And it's to me, I like this. Still just those medium runners who set fast laps here so far. Gaff Peak in the pits, so is AD. Everybody else pretty much out there. Not Fernando on the outlap. Just over 7-8 to go. There we go. Quinton now responds a 128.7, and that will take him through. That will take him through to the next session, and it also proves what I said, that he can do better. And this makes 128.5 on soft. Not much faster on the softer tire. Only 2/10. There we go, not Kimmy, 128.2. We're getting closer and closer to those 127s. By the looks of it, we might even see a 127 for pole in the next session. It's not impossible, because we're very close to it. It's just finding another 2-3 10s, and here we go, 4, so 128.1. Even a little step closer to that 127 yeah. So we pretty much, there's our top 10. Of course, 5 cars will be eliminated after this session. In the drop zone at the moment is the judge. There's Gaffbeek, who's out on the outlap now. Chen, AD, who's also on the outlap, and not Fernando, who's on the outlap at the moment. Carter Boy, I don't think Carter Boy definitely is not safe. A 131.0. If you look at your top 9, 128 to a 129.4. So the low 129s might not even be enough. Not Fernando goes 9 for 129.4, and he actually pushed Carter Boy into the drop zone. Staffy now on the border, just like last week. You find him in the same position. Can Staffy find some extra time on those mediums? He's going to come into the pits. He's going very slow. I think he's out of fuel. So he will refuel, hopefully set up and go out and have another go, unless he's happy with this. He'll just retire and of course wait for the race, because he will not be in the next session if someone can push him out. And there's still the likes of Gafpiku to come and set a hot lap. He's still on his out lap. He's about to start a hot lap, so then we will see pretty much how that affects the rest of the field a little bit down. Here we go, picking up speed, getting ready. The area is wide open across the start finish line, and he's underway with his hot lap. Yo, we're that close. But then it also shows how some of these guys, how they just, the mindset, how they love this game and how everything falls in place. I mean, if you think about it, for argument's sake, I know he had a bit of a practice with the boys. When you have someone like not Kimi, he doesn't really practice, work, pitch up, get in the car, drive, kick someone's butt, and then he goes home. It's like, I mean, we look at not Maverick last week, pitch up after how many races, MIA, boom, in the top 5. And at once he was actually fighting for the lead. He was fighting there with those leaders. So yeah, some of the guys are just like that. They pitch up to 100% race win, and it's not like they you know what, practice for it or what. It just falls in place for some of the guys. And 80 into 10th, he kicked down Staffy into the drop zone now. Gaffby comes around, Jerry is wide open, start finish line, and goes second, 128.2. Then he kicks 80 now back into the drop zone. So both Flakker boys very close to the 127 mark, with not Kimi, very close in front. Even not Sebastian. It's not much between them in front. Good to see. We're gonna have a real epic battle for the pole. But I think there might be some cement bagging as well. But let's see what happens. Now Staff is not gonna go out. Yeah, he's not gonna go out again. He will take that. He's gonna start there. He's gonna start on the mediums, of course. Yeah. But the thing is, at the end of the day, he went out with the mediums, wanting to start on the mediums, so he might actually stay with his strategy to start on the mediums. And you're right, he have free choice, so he can change his mind if you want. But if he already committed in his mind to the mediums, why not? And you have that lower down, so it might not be a bad idea. If you can run a good first stint and keep it clean, people have to put way before you, and that's when you push and try to make up as many places as possible. That's it. So 80 coming in. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to turn this around and get another lap in. Just over 2.5. It is possible. It's just how quick can they get the car going again. Yeah, but he's still got pretty much like a minute, so no, it's fine. If he want to go out again, he can do so. Yep. Ooh, and the judge feels that corner. Nicely kept together by the judge. That dreaded corner coming downhill, far sweeping left. Kept it together. Make sure the car didn't get away from him, and he lives to fight another day. Of course, the judge is one of those guys on the wheel, no assists and so forth. And he insists driving like this. Yeah, if he doesn't have any issues and he doesn't spin, he actually have time for a second lap. No, this tire, if it is going to be his fastest lap, then you're correct. And he didn't post the time, so if you're going to cross the line now, it's actually going to be... Oh, no, that's changed. That is changed, yeah, that's changed qualifying over. That's also, we'll talk about that dreaded corner, that fast sweeping left just before you get to that first DRS zone. Of course, this whole twisty section before that, is also not easy, because if you get one wheel wrong, you also spin out there, and Chen just proved it. So Chen is out, the judge currently in the drop zone with Carter Boy. Of course, Staff is already out, so AD, other guy, he is on the out lap. Can he perhaps improve? But 40 seconds, oh, it's going to be touch and go for AD to make it around in time. Vino 128.0, and we're getting closer and closer to that 127. As the truck gets rubbered in, no, Staff, AD is not going to do another lap, he's going very slow. So he's not going to make it around, because only 25 seconds, and he's only pretty much now in almost in the middle there of sector 2. Coming down the DRS straight now, with that first DRS, if you want, or they might call this a second, but this is actually once you started your lap, this is actually the first. The last one you open up before the start finish line, whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah, and that is over. AD is done. So Springbok Gamer actually is 10th, so he's going to stay. The judge is, like I said, so he is in 14th. Unless he can find some, 4 seconds. Well, on my side, no, it's not showing checkered flags yet. Carter Boy's got it. Staffy and Chen is out. AD is definitely out. So I think that's pretty much it. We confirmed our top 10. Yeah, not Fernando that managed to improve. He's in 8th, so he's through to the next round. Boinkies and Springbok Gamer. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The judge is still on his lap, but it's going to take some doing for him to find 4 seconds. And yeah, it's done, it's over. There we go, that's confirmation pretty much. So of course, just while the judge comes around to finish his lap, so we got Vino, Vos, Gafpik, not Kimi, not Sebastian, Nismax, Quinton, not Fernando, Boinkies and Springbok Gamer making up the top 10. Eliminated, of course, is AD, Staffy, Carterboy, the judge, and Chen. I mean, 128.0, that's fast. So that 127 lap time looks more and more likely. As you said, 127.8 was the Bahrain Grand Prix last year, so let's see how close they get to that. Wouter van der Merwe, dit kan net familie van Quinton van der Merwe wees. But then again, he does say go BPP, so it's giving it away as well. Thank you for that, Steph. Devi, just check your mic settings again, because Steffi says he can only hear me. Just make sure that your setting shows on mic open to all, you know, allow, always allow. Yeah, but on the party chat, you just have the option to say allow voice. Just make sure that just make sure that you're allowing your voice. Otherwise, it's not going to go through the party chat. Of course, remember the party still streams to YouTube, and then those guys can't hear. All that for nothing. But at least I know I didn't talk alone. Dankie Wouter, ek het so gedink. Dank vir die confirmation, of course. Nou, goed om te sien. Nie die enigste broer wat uitkom om sy broer te support nie. As hulle kyk, Armand en sy vriende ook. Nice om te sien die support hier so vir die ouens. Waardeer het.
I hope Steffi can hear me now.
Steffi, testing. Can you just confirm if you can hear Devon now?
Steph. Alright, so I suppose...
There we go. You sorted. Steph says he can hear you, so there we go. All 100.
Thank you, Steph, for that.
I think the people here thought for a moment I'm losing my mind talking to myself. Right, guys,
Forces
going out.
out first. Forces. Ooh,
He feels eager. Force has been eyeing this track because he's been saying it. Yeah, it's one of his favorites, and he's talking good about this track. So I think he's feeling it. A couple of guys are really eager. Yeah, there you go, Springbok Gamer.
Forces on turn 8. Heading up to turn 9.
Just not Fernando and Vino. But as I say, that Vino is actually out, so it's only not Fernando in the pits, everyone else is out. Of course, this Protea car, as I call it. Because if you look at that livery, how can you not think about the Protea kit on a pink day? Of course, the green we all know, Mr. Springbok Gamer. Just like Vlakke Fontaine. We all know Van Vlakke Fontaine's favorite drink. Of course, if I'm not mistaken, that's what Quinton also likes. But then again, hulle is regte buffels.
Okay. Force on turn 14, heading to 15 down the main straight. The area is wide open.
So two guys of Oceans, 3 in the top 10. There's 3 guys from Not Sober. And then of course the 2 guys from BPP. So yet again, Not's actually got 3 drivers in the last qualifying session. I think from all the teams they actually managed to do so the most.
The most consistent team.
To have all 3 drivers in the final qualifying session.
But all 3 drivers are quite fast though.
The problem is about finish.
Yeah, turn 1
nice
as well.
It's nice being fast and everything, but it's about consistency and being able to finish. And yeah, it's not always doing it, of your own doing. There can also be Eskom in there can be other guys in there, so a couple of factors affecting your race. So that is the thing to get it to the finish line.
Force around turn 12. Heading down to turn 14. Let's see. 128.6.
Yeah, we're starting it off already in the mid 128. We will definitely see that improve. Yeah, here we go. Kimmy 128.1. Kimmy already back on the ball. He's pushing. You're going to see the sandbags and the cement bags gone. They left that in the garage. Now we're going to see some proper runnings. I mean, there we go. Top 6. Already all in the 128. Now BPP is such a
128.0. So we should see a 127 very soon.
Boinkies all of a sudden in the mix as well. This is not going to be just a Not Sober versus Vlakke shootout, but Boinky showing that the Oceans boys can also get in there. Of course, BPP, that's a nice a bar name, BPP. Brandewyn, Punch and Peanuts.
So who's your money on for pole? Not Kimmy, not Sebastian.
I would have said, Kevin. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Force. But now with Boinkies in the mix, Boinkies actually is throwing this thing wide open. Gafpik was fast as the Q1, but then again Force showed pace. Now Boinkies in there as well, so it's tough to call. But if I look at the times, it's going to be, you know what, don't even leave Vino out there. Vino is actually, if you look at the time that he came in last time round, and he's already up there. He went faster than not Kimmy. This is going to be one of those awesome shootouts. Nancy, Huey. Nee, maar Wouter, ek sal nie sê wat die BPP eintlik beteken nie, nie op die livestream eerder nie. Want die feit dat ek sal net sê die pink op die kar behoort jy al klaar die naam te gee. Dit is 'n paar manne se favourite kleur. Something pink. Maar ek dink jy weet dit al klaar.
So mostly everybody in the garage. Not Fernando hasn't set the lap yet.
No.
He's still in the garage.
And you guys should set out, but I have seen this before. He's happy to go starting 10th. So I won't be surprised if he doesn't come out at all. Guys coming in obviously all in now for fresh rubber. Just under 6 minutes to go, so everybody's going to give it one more shot and they're going to give it all. So that 127 is still on the cards. Because Boinkies came back close. Vino's been there, not Kimi's been there. I think Vos was just more like a banker than anything else, so I expect better from Vos.
Well, he's out now on his out lap. First one out actually. For his second round of the shootout.
But obviously was the first one out first time as well, so he's definitely, as you can see, as I said earlier, there's a bit more red on his livery. Some of the guys were creative in that way, where although the livery is the same, it's not 100% same. It's like what you see in F2 in real life. It's the same team, but the two, even the racing suits look a bit different from the drivers in F2 compared to the car, but it's still one team. So some of the guys took the same initiative and made the one of the two cars slightly different from the others. And the Not boys did as well. If you look closely at the Not boys, the rear wing, the color of the sponsorship in the rear wing is not the same on all three cars. And you will see the same as well with Vino and Carter Boy, whose teammates. The blue wings versus the green wings.
I see Vino actually called it. I don't know what happened, if he had a crash or if he just retired, but he's out of Q3.
No, he retired, so I think he felt he did enough. He did his fastest that he can do. No way he can go better, so he retired, because if it was a crash, he would have actually showed right at the bottom, because normally if it's a crash, it moves you to the bottom.
Oh yes, that is correct, sorry. I normally don't see these things because I'm usually behind
on the other
wheel
side,
of one of these. Yeah.
Right, gaff peak on the outlap.
Force on the lap.
Approaching traffic. Let's hope the gap doesn't really. Okay, there we go. Purple first sector. Gap to the car in front. Luckily, looks like it's staying as is. Last thing we want is to be caught up by a slower car, which is actually his teammate who's going to pull over.
Down to turn 9, turn 10.
That corner that we all red. DRS wide open. Not Kimi also. No, not Kimi still in the pits there. Safwan Quinton, BBP guy out there. Oh, bit of lag there.
The guy should just be very careful.
Also passing his teammate pretty much. No, sorry, that's actually Ocean's. So for a moment 12. It looked like his own teammate, but no, it was Ocean's car there. Force 9 to the final corner.
Turn 14.
DRS will pop wide open now. Start finish line coming up and
127.8.
127.8. Where's your Bahrain time of last season? You said it last season. Charles Leclerc did a 127.8. There's Force with his 127.8, and the first guy to break into the 127s tonight.
127.6. Charles Leclerc did last year.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Sorry, no, I lied. 127.8.
Okay. Make up your mind now. What is it?
Sorry, man. So he's actually very close to Charles's lap time of last year. Very, very close.
I think Force will be happy to hear that, because they've been pushing. We said it that the pole lap can be a 127. We got closer and closer and closer. They were on it, and here it goes Force, a 127 indeed. So we'll see what can Boinkies come up with.
Probably some internet issues over there.
Coming up
Kimi is
a few cars in front. I expect Nismax and Not Sebastian to come out very soon, because there's only a few seconds left before they won't have enough time.
Just as you spoke.
There we go. Yeah, because otherwise they won't have enough time to make it around in time for a lap. Boinkies now coming into that dreaded corner. DRS wide open. Sorry for you, Rob, but neither of them sounded very confident with Bahrain. Boinkies looks like for a moment there he's backing off. Yeah, he's definitely going slower, backing off, probably creating a gap because there's not enough time to get into the pitch and go back out. So he's obviously saving fuel, and now coming around the final corner he's going to go at it and then give it his all for his last lap, or is he? No, he's actually on his way into the pits. We're going slow, not picking up, so he stays. And Gavpig actually went faster than 4, so 126, 127.6. So we got both flockers.
Gavpig just beat Charles's lap of last year.
Oh wow. It was time for Flocker to come up because the last couple of races, Not Sober and BPP were sliding the guitar there. So it was time for Flocker to actually show that they still can do it.
Well, let's see what Kimi can do. Is on turn 14, 15.
He's coming now around here. Main straight, start finish line. The area is wide open and he does a 127.9. 127.9. So we got 3 cars in the 127s.
Let's see where the other
127.9. Look, 127.9 looks slow if you look at those other two, but it's still lightning fast.
Quite fast. Yeah, that's quite fast.
Boinkies came very close. Of course, Quinton is done as well. So not Kimi did make it over the. He did actually make it over the line in time, so he can do in one more lap. Let's see if something come from it. Not Fernando. Is doing no, not Fernando's coming into the pits. Not Sebastian. He's coming now into the storm sector to get into sector 3.
Well, everybody
purple second sector. Purple second sector there for Not Sebastian. Nismax just in front of him. Springbok Game in front of Nismax. Nismax coming over the start finish line now. Nismax 128.
127.7 for Not Sebastian.
Yeah. Not Sebastian splitting the 2 Flocker boys. Was just on board here with Nismax. He stayed in the 128. So Not Sebastian. So this is going to be a 2-on-2 battle. The Flocker boys versus the Not Sober boys. Gavpig from Not Sebastian, from Vos from Not Kimi. And flying the flag there for the Oceans boys is Boinkies. 4 drivers actually ended up in the 127s in the end. And they all were very close to each other. Wow. I don't think Vos is going to be a very happy chappy because his teammate stole his thunder, but at the same time he will be happy because it's a good thing for the team.
Well, if you just look at the first to fourth, or first to fifth actually not even, everybody in the top 10. Very close, a 127.6, a 127.8, a 127.9. They're all very close together.
Yeah.
It should make for great racing.
The BPP boys not really on song tonight in qualifying, but then again, as I said earlier, they did. From the comments you picked up, they were not that confident, but you know what? It doesn't mean it's over. There's still 100% race distance to cover, and you don't win this race in the first corner. You need to be in the end. Exactly,
you can lose it in the first corner.
Just confirmation, pole goes to Gavpig. Second place, Not Sebastian. Vos in the end, 3rd place. Not Kimi, 4th. So teammate behind teammate there in the front 2 rows. Boinkies went 5th, followed by Vino. Quinton went 7th, Not Fernando 8th in the end, so he did go out. Nismax in 9th, and a Springbok Game in 10th. So yeah, good luck to the boys, Steph, you included. Steph would be hoping to do a repeat of last week. A good solid 6th place. Just waiting for everybody to finish their strategies. Once done, that there will be a counter there, start ticking off. Ticking off, counting down, whichever way you want to look at it or mention it. Taking a little bit longer than usual. These guys trying to fine tune that strategy to the teeth. There we go. Somebody's
So
ready.
what?
So the counter started.
What I mean, what strategy would you go with? Soft, medium, soft, 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 medium, medium, soft, soft.
For pace sake, I would have said for softs, but if you're not on this guy's pace, you know it's not your track, you're not that confident, you know you're slow. If I'm saying slow, just slow compared to the others, because slow doesn't mean you're really slow. Then I would rather start with a medium, so hope it all stays clean and go for a longer strategy. And that's pretty much what Quentin is banking on, because that's one guy that comes to mind.
So just for everybody to know that they should run at least one different compound to the one they started on.
Yeah, two compounds during the race, of course, being it a soft medium or a medium hard or a soft hard, whichever, as long as it's two different compounds. F1 have evolved. I mean, back in the day you had your prime tire and your, what was it, alternate tire or whatever?
Ultra soft.
No, before, I'm talking about before that. Because you actually had the green ring on the outside of the one tire, because at one stage when they started this, there was no way to identify the tires, and then they just started with a random color to just identify the tires so that everybody knows it's a hard or a softer compound. And when the era came as we know today, the red, the yellow, and of course white, and a season or two ago you actually had red, known then as the super softs, now it's the medium, the softs. And then you also back then had the ultra softs and the hyper softs. So pink and then pretty much like a pastel peach color. And then of course you had your hards there as well. Hards then was an orangey color, not for white. And white was actually known as medium, where white now is hard. So yeah, things were in the last 10 years or so, how things have changed with these different compound tires. But I think as it is now, it's quite easy. You have a soft, you have a medium, you have a hard. Rather than when you have a soft and you have like how many variants of soft, when you have medium and how many variants, because you even had hard and it was ultra hard or whatever, and that was actually a blue sidewall tire. And we all know blue sidewalls for the wet tires and green for inters.
And for the full wet. Oh, the guys are a bit naughty during the formation lap.
But they all made it through, last corner, just everybody lining up. Yeah, so 7 and 9, those guys will hope for a good start. Right, just waiting for that final cars to line up here at the back. There we go. Watch for the lights.
Would you mind doing the lights, boss, Juan?
Yeah. There you go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and go. Gaffbeek with a good start. So does Force, but Force got a brilliant start. He's actually alongside Gaffbeek. Not Kimi got a much better start. Not Sebastian, not with the best of starts. And Force runs wide.
Oh my word.
Gaffbeek and not Kimi in front. This takes us all the way back to China a few races ago, where not Kimi was putting Gaffbeek under pressure. Now Kimi's going to go, no, Kimi thought better of it. Okay, for a moment there, it looks like Kimi's going to take the inside. And Vino is in the mix as well. He and Boink is having a bit of a tussle just behind these two. Sebastian, a bit of a recovery drive. Fighting Boink is there for 4th place. Oh, not Kimi having a look on the inside. Vino had a sniff there for a moment. Boinky's just keeping him honest.
Chen made up 5 places within the first lap. Oh.
Talking about China, Force, Gaffbeek and not Kimi were all up there to start. And when Force also had a terrible start and he lost places, and he pretty much repeated that. And as I say that, not Kimi actually took Gaffbeek on the outside. So it's pretty much China all over again. You had the Flocker boys up front there with a few of the not sober guys, and by the end of lap 1 you have Force towards the back, and not Kimi past Gaffbeek. So never count not Kimi out. Doesn't mean he's not on pole. He can't win this, and there's already a bit of a gap forming between him and Gaffbeek. Gaffbeek looks like Looks like he's going to come under pressure from Vino very anytime soon. Boinky still staying in touch with not Sebastian. Not Quinton up into 6.
Force having a recovery.
Nismax also gained a place. He's in 8th. Must say that this is actually good to see the top 10 all within less than a second from the car in front of them.
And everybody got clean away from turn 1. No incident.
Not a bit of wide run there. He and Staffy having a tussle there. Staffy, of course, just want to keep it clean. He is on the harder tyre. Chen actually also a good gainer. Chen jumped from 15th to 11th.
Yep. He was up into 10th at one stage.
The Springbok gamer running at the back at the moment. Not sure if there was a bit of a tussle. He's 4 seconds behind the car in front of him. Chen and Carterboy battling.
Well, he's falling back from Staffy a little bit.
Voss has actually passed Carterboy, so Voss fighting his way back car by car.
And Chen's going to come under pressure from Voss.
Meantime, back in front, the gap is now over a second. Kimi is pulling away there from Gavpeak. Not Sebastian keeping Boinkies honest. Boinkies is on the medium, so you would want to get past Boinkies ASAP. Because usually soft tyres get past and then pull some sort of a gap. Because Boinkies can run much longer.
And DRS is enabled.
That's it.
DRS.
That's what not Sebastian was hoping for, but Boinkies not the easiest to pass in that DRS zone.
Well,
Nesmax meantime back up into 7th. He's now right behind his teammate. Both BBP boys running there with each other. Of course, Quinton is on the medium tyres, and Nesmax will have a bit of an advantage speed-wise. Because in the long run, Quinton is set up better. Of course, do not rule out the safety car option, because that is possible.
Safety car would give the guys running on soft a little bit more breathing room with their tires, maybe a little bit longer on the stint.
We know now also outside of DRS to, well, outside inside, pretty much at the moment not in DRS. Boinkies is also not in a DRS. That actually gives not Sebastian a much better advantage, because he's got DRS. He's right in Boinkies. So the guys in front are all within more than a second from each other, so the car in front will not have DRS. Not Sebastian with a good run out of his last corner. DRS will open up. Can he get slipstream? It's going to be a long run into the first corner. Here we go, diving to the inside. He's going to take Boinkies on the inside. Now just get the braking point right. Nice hookup of the apex, and he's through. He's past Boinkies. Now Boinkies should have DRS. Not Sebastian will defend on the inside.
Well, Nismax is also in that mix at the moment.
Boinkies just a little bit. So yeah, he's past his teammate. Not Sebastian now under pressure from 2 pinkies here. Boinkies for Oceans 3 and Nismax for BBP. Of course, this can be team strategy. Quinton knowing he's running a longer stint. No point in holding up his teammate. Let him use those soft tyres, put Boinkies under pressure who's on the mediums, which can actually help Quinton as well here. Because pretty much Quinton and Boinkies at the moment racing each other, where Nismax is trying to keep in touch with not Sebastian. Meantime, Gavpeak has closed the gap in front. It's about the gap came down with about 3/10, so Gavpeak has responded. He's back up to speed now, whatever the issue was, if it was. But yeah, this is what we want to see. Vino just staying out of DRS for these two.
Chin just had her off there by turn 12 at infamous inside curb.
Then of course he had the last Carterboy now through. Not Fernando, Chen and Carterboy now fighting there. Meantime, Springbok gamer got past Judge.
There goes a wing from Chen. I don't think he would. Will he dive into the pits, put on some hards? Yes, diving into the pits. Let's see what First one into the pits. Let's see what he puts on.
Let's see what his strategy change will be. Actually, there's a Flakker boy in the pits as well. Force going for hard. So, not sure if Force had a moment there as well, because that's a very early stop. Lap 5.
Chin.
I think that might have been the case for Force, because Force took on hard. So, very early stop.
Force took on hard. Chin put on a fresh set of mediums. Okay, so if
you see, this is what we live for. This wheel-to-wheel stuff. These guys, Vino as well. Vino is now in DRS to the peak, and he opened up the gap to Sebastian to 3 seconds. So the pole in the end went to Flakker. It's just not the one that we expected. Gaffby came. He did show that pace earlier, but in the end, pole or not pole, Flakker boys a bit of a... Well, they've had decent getaways, but unfortunately Force just running wide in that first corner. Of course, that costed him valuable places. And then, just like back in China, not Kimi putting Gaffpick under pressure and then overtook him. And Gaffpick under real pressure from Vino. Vino with the fastest lap, DRS wide open. Gaffpick fighting off on the inside. Vino's going to have a look on the outside. They're going to go to a side in this first corner. Gaffpick going to go.
I think Vino's got the run on him.
No, they're still side by side. And Gaffpick actually managed to stay ahead, and he's actually got DRS now, which will help him get away from Vino. Of course, while these two are fighting each other, it's actually playing into the hands of not Kimi, but Gaff all of a sudden now 2.5 seconds.
This Max still hard on Boinkies' tail, 2/10.
Oh yes, he's really in it. And these guys are closing down, not Sebastian, who actually managed to get gain some time on Vino. Of course, Vino losing some time battling with Gaffpick. That is what they want to see. Nismax now with DRS wide open, but this is not really a place. Oh, not Fernando is gone. See, that straight is just a little bit too short. But of course, staying like this, they will have DRS. Both Boinkies and Nismax. Not Sebastian would want to get out here. Vino again will also have come around for final corner now.
I'll keep
DRS wide open, but Vino a little bit further back this time.
So
now he's not going to be able.
Second over Boinkies.
Nismax also just too far back for Boinkies, and still not be able to get past Boinkies.
Oh, but Boinkies ran wide.
And that actually brings Nismax back in it, another DRS, but I think Boinkies got DRS as well. Because that is what's helping Boinkies at the moment, the DRS that he gets from not Sebastian, and that allows him to counter Nismax.
Gaffpick got past Vino. Vino's got 2/10s back to 2/10s to Gav.
But of course, this has been like it. Gaffpick has been in second. These guys have been battling after a few laps, and again, it's still just helping. Oh, Gaffpick with a bit of a wider line, Vino much tighter. But as I was saying, these two fighting each other, it actually allows not Kimi to get away. Now Vino's actually going to go on the inside. Funny enough, Gaffpick did not fend to the inside. He stayed on the outside.
When he's got the inside,
no, big moment. Gaffpick spins around and not Sebastian goes through. Now he's going to have to wait for all of these guys. And it's going terribly wrong for Flakker. From good to bad in like 0.2 seconds. That corner is always tricky. If you don't line that corner up right, you're actually going to have a spin situation. That's exactly what happened to Gaffpick. Now, not Sebastian out of the DRS range. Boinkies will have to fight to get back. So this will help Nismax. And as I say, Nismax closing up on Boinkies. He's going to dive to the inside. Coming into the first corner. Nismax will have it. Is Boinkies going to fight? Boinkies is going to try, but no, it's not going to help. Nismax is through.
Nismax up to fourth.
And he will have DRS like you said. Now Quentin would want to get closer to Boinkies.
Well,
Can his teammate help him here?
go chase after not Sebastian. Who's 2
Staffy
seconds
still,
up the rope.
Staffy I think is smiling big time. He's up to 7th.
Carter Boy's got a 3-second
Gaff pick in
penalty.
the pits. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think if he spun, maybe go for a hard tire and finish and climb, then fight back from there. So yeah, so Gaff pick pitted. He's on the mediums. Vino now chasing after not Kimi.
Yeah, Boinky's got DRS to Nizmax.
But of course, the medium tires, that might just count against him. Vino gaining on not Kimi.
So not Kimi, Vino, not Sebastian, Nizmax, all running on softs. Boinky's, Quinton, Staff, Carter Boy running on mediums, Springbok Gamer on 7.
On 7, on soft you mean?
So on soft, 7 lap old
Vino with
softs.
another fastest lap. He's really now chasing after not Kimi.
Gavin's on, Gav picks on mediums, Force on hards, Judge on softs, Chen on mediums, 80 on.
Oh,
80,
here we go.
77.
Quinton looking on the inside. He's right. I didn't see that coming. He's actually there with Boinkies. Actually a good run up there, medium to medium, and he actually is through. Boinkies now down to into 6th place.
Boinky
But he will have DRS,
though.
but
So he's gonna come back
Quinton
at him.
goes on the inside. Of course, keep in mind penalties plays a vital role here, which will come into effect at the end of the race. I just want to do something quickly. Just please forgive me for a moment. Debbie, you can still talk. I just want to see if I can get that other guy who retired in here.
Everybody's a bit spaced out right now. While I say spaced out, the second doesn't seem.
Force really pushing hard, racking up a few penalties. 3-second time penalty.
Gavin's 5 10s off of Springbok Gamer. Yes, DRS.
Vino
So the next
still
lap or
chasing Kimi, but of course that means he takes a lot out of his tyres.
Gavin 2 10s behind Springbok Gamer. Looking to line him up. Oh, Springbok Gamer runs wide. Let's Gav through.
Gaff will appreciate that. He would want to get it back up in front, and he would not want to have too much resistance on his way up there. Gaff is now chasing after Carter Boy. Yeah, as you said, it's a bit spread out, and there's actually a mistake by Vino from 1.7, 1.6. A gap actually opened back up to just under 3 seconds again. Chen in the pits again. ID running there in a bit of a lonely 13th place.
Chen went in, put on a pair of softs. But at this rate, I suppose he still gets points according to the league's rules. The league point
Actually,
system.
all of them actually get points if they finish as is. Everybody up to 15 get points, you know, a few points less than the others. So should there be more than 15 finishes, anyone that finishes from 16 and lower get 1 point. So the whole idea is for everybody just to, you know, to reward them for participating, not giving up, not quitting if it doesn't go well, and actually still race in there for the points. And it's actually paying dividend if you look at how close the championship is. And then of course that's 6 points bonus for a pole. So Gavpik at least already have 6 points plus then the bonus points for having 3 drivers for team, so all 3 guys in the team got that. So that's 8 points before he even finishes the race. So it's all to race for. Of course, as it is now, not Sebastian is happy where he sits because he's ahead of Nismax. Nismax chasing him down. Those guys are currently right in front of the championship, so they would want to stay in touch with each other.
Well, here's the interesting thing happening. Nismax and Quinton, teammates obviously.
Yes.
And Quinton is gaining on Nismax.
But I'm
so
going to stop you there, because that mediums is actually what I said earlier. That mediums are coming into their own now. And those softs are starting to go off because it's starting to get closer to that pit window for the softs. And that actually will release these guys on mediums.
I don't know if you can remember a while. Oh, there Nismax jumps into the pit. I was about to say
those tires are getting to the end.
I was about to say that.
But can that be a planned pit stop, part of a team strategy to allow his teammate through?
I was gonna say now. I was gonna ask you. Do you remember a team message going something like this? Fernando Fernando is faster than you. Do you catch that? Fernando is faster than you. I wonder if something like that would have played into.
But Quinton also the better strategy is running a bit longer, so no point. And at the end of the day, earlier Nismax passed Quinton, so I also believe that was a team strategy. So this is just now giving it back to him. And there, as you could have seen, someone who actually joined us in here. We welcome Mr. Not Fernando. Early retirement, a bit of a bad luck for him there. Mr. Not Fernando, what happened?
Hello. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Roger that.
My mic's just. I got too much technology going on here, and I'm not even sure what mic I'm speaking into. But yeah, it was rather unfortunate. I don't know if you saw any of that on the stream.
Actually, not. Hence, I'm asking.
I had Staffy behind me for a while. I was chasing down AD, and then progressively catching him, and got into the DRS. And yeah, it was pretty much sure I had the inside line. I went up the inside, and he sort of just turned in on me. Lost a few positions, went down to 12th, and then worked my way back up to 10th, and turned around a corner to find a reversing AD77. So I had to leave the track at a rather high speed, and unfortunately lost control trying to avoid him. I did avoid him because he's still in the race, so yeah. But unfortunately, few retirements now for myself this season. So and I was really looking forward to this circuit. Had a bit of pace here.
I think a couple of guys, because Vino's one of them. Now he's got the gap back down to 1.7 there to your teammate, not Kimi, who actually had a brilliant start. He stayed there with the flock of boys, and that start was like China all over again. So Quinton now a little bit closer to not Sebastian, who's not able to keep up here with Vino. And here's one for you, Devin. You talk about teammates and team strategies. How's this for you? Gap, Pick and Foss, 8th and 9th. 8 seconds between them at the moment. Hard and mediums with the tires. So what happens if those two get on each other's gearbox?
Well, is team order still a thing in F1? Can we allow them to?
It is actually a thing in F1. It is actually illegal now. Everyone knows it's there. Now it's less of a cover-up.
It's always going to be a thing. It's always going to be a thing in F1. And
at the end of the day, it's a team sport, whichever way you look at it. Yeah, it's 2 drivers, 2 individuals, but it's a team thing, because you only stay successful as a team. Oh, and Foss has left the session. A disconnect there.
Got to remember that those drivers are employed by a team, and that team's primary objective is to win the constructors, not necessarily to win the drivers. To win the constructors, that means more to
that's it.
Merck, for instance. So
AD just took over Judge. AD moves up to 11th, and he runs wide, and Judge actually
is going to try to have a look back at him.
Judge got DRS down the main
Yeah.
straight.
And Bajaj is chasing down Carter Boy. Bajaj looking a bit racy tonight. Good to see.
Oh, and
Who
Judge
says-
was wide.
Who says
My
the
early
front
retirement.
Who says the front boys can have all the fun? These guys at the back, and also now 80's got DRS. 80's going to actually run onto the Judge now, and he's going to have the inside line. So
And
80's
80's got it
going
done.
fast again. So these
my,
two is a bit of a ping pong battle.
my early retirement means I can scratch the itch. Haven't commentated in a while. As I say that, I get an itch on my shoulder. It's kind of weird. So look at that clown, not Fernando, down in 15th, the only DNF. Don't know who the heck that clown is. Not Kimi leads the race, but 2.1 seconds from Vino.
Yeah,
Then,
gap opened up again. It was just now 1.7. So Vino again with a little bit of an error. And not
growing
Sebastian
ever so
still.
slightly. That could just be a mistake. Not Sebastian. He's down in 3rd.
Yeah, he's still
doing a lot
dropping
better than
down
their
to
clown
them.
of a teammate.
He's not able to keep up with those two in front.
Quinton is in 4th.
Quentin is actually
Boinkies is
gaining.
in
Quentin is chasing not Sebastian down.
And Steph is
Steffi.
actually gaining him on his teammate.
Yeah, Staffy and Boinkies, and of course we all remembered what happened last week. Staffy actually finished first for Oceans Free ahead of Boinkies and Springbok Gamers. So Staffy is actually having a bunch of confidence. So let's see what he can
flag.
do.
Ooh,
DRS
80 on
almost.
Carter Boy. 80 on Carter Boy. 80's got DRS on Carter
DRS,
Boy.
here we go.
And
80
80's
is
got
going to
it.
go on the outside, Carter Boy defense on the inside, and 80 does make it. And in the process, he pulled away from the Judge as well. Still no sign of Force actually rejoining the session. I haven't seen a notification. Oh, Carter Boy wanting to have a look at 80 on the inside. 80 is having none of that. Gav peak 6 seconds off Nismax. Nismax obviously also a few laps newer tyres. Also in the mediums. Not Sebastian's pitted. So I would think the front runners will also pit very soon. Because those soft tyres are really at the point of dropping off.
Not Fernando. I see your teammate, not Kimi, is doing a good job at keeping the gap at around 2 seconds to Vino.
My other teammate, not Sebastian, he's now in the pits. He's
actually on his way out.
he's down to 7th place, so he's
on
just
mediums.
emerging from the pits in 7th place. I believe he does have a solo pit garage, so he doesn't have any threat tonight of a double stack. He comes out in 7th, not Kimi.
Of course, that's
leads the
one
race,
thing about
yet to pit.
multiplayer cars. You don't share, although you're in the same team, you don't share the same garage. You don't have necessarily a double stack. But the problem is you can actually share a garage with a complete different team, and you might end up double stacking with him.
Yeah, if you both just happen to go for the Jeff strategy, you could double stack with somebody
and
who's
Steph
not
is
your teammate.
past Boinkies.
Well, Boinky just let him pass, so I think that's some team orders coming into play over there.
Because he's so much faster. Speeding in the pit lane now, 5-second penalties for the Judge. So Staff is actually very fast at the moment, so I would understand why Boinkies would have. And like I said, Staff is high on confidence. Following last week where he was the #1 finisher, and of course look at the qualifying tonight, he was outside the top 10 where Boinkies was inside. I mean Boinkies was right up
AD
there
has
with the
another
top guys.
spin. Okay,
Carter Boy's
Okay.
passed him again.
I'm just sorry to interrupt, but I've got that on my stream. Okay, AD just had a spin in the middle of the track. He reversed in the middle of the track, and in the process he almost took out Carter Boy, and that's what he did to me. So the man needs to have a look at the map before engaging reverse.
It's kind of like what Gapik that he actually spun. He knew there were cars behind him. As much as he wanted to get back in racing, he actually waited for the guys to come past. You also need to always need to make sure you rejoin the track safe.
If I'm not mistaken, it was exactly the same spot. He spun, Carter Boy came around the area, Carter Boy just had
Vino
more space.
closed down again, so I'm not sure if not Kimi made a mistake or Vino just got some pace again. But gap is down to 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds.
1.2 still coming down ever so slightly. They're
But
in the
these
same
two are
picture
due a
now.
pit stop anytime now.
let's just bring up some info on the screen.
That
Their
will
tyres,
promote
both of them on
Quinton
softs.
to first.
Both of them on softs, both of them
And
16 laps
both of them
old,
actually
obviously.
heading into the pits, both of them. Vino responding
Now
to
the
not
worst-
Kimi, and this promotes not Quinton, promotes Quinton into first. He's not a not. Sorry, Quinton. Not
At
second
least-
place or not
at least the
third place
worst
anymore.
case scenario did not happen. At least they weren't sharing a pit.
That would
Because
have been weird.
as they came in together, I was like, we just spoke about this.
Commentator's
This-
curse. That would have been interesting. I think Vino
That
would have
would-
been the biggest
That
loser
would
there
have been
because he's the
terrible.
second
Whoever
guy.
got there second.
Oh, Vino would have
they're
been
done.
swearing. I think the KZN would have never been the same again. Gaffney
Not,
still in
not
8th,
quite.
but he is 3 seconds behind, not Sebastian. But not Sebastian on fresher rubber. Nesmax is still in 6th. Boinky's back into 3rd.
Boinky's keeping up with his teammate though.
But of course, these
Stacky's
guys
not
now
getting
with
away.
the fresher mediums can actually push now a longer stint when these early medium guys will have to stop. So again, it's turning the other way around again.
Top
Mr. Not
3
Fernando.
cars, all on top 3 cars, all on medium, all 17 laps old. So those 3 cars, obviously, all on either the same or very similar strategies.
What would
Yes, Devon.
what would your strategy have been if you had to go further on in the race?
Well,
Just as a little bit of insight.
Jeff gave 2 strategies at the start of the race. The default one didn't make much sense. It was go from a set of softs to a set of hards and finish the race. And then at the end of the
Yeah.
race, the hards didn't look so great. And then the one that I picked was start on a set of softs and then 2 sets of mediums. And it was literally 4/10 slower than the hards. So it was the much better option. But I don't know how maybe a soft medium soft would play out. I haven't actually
fastest lap. Oh, and
Out of
Vino and
the-
Kimi still fighting big time.
out of the knots, we usually do a lot more practice going into a race. This time around, a few of the guys started working this week and didn't get that same amount of data. So I'm not sure how much was the difference between the mediums and the softs and the hards. Maybe soft, medium, soft. To give it a splash and dash there at the end. Just
Bit of a moment there for Vino.
Quinton
AD
leads the race, 9.3
got
seconds.
Force is still ghosting, I suppose.
Yeah,
he hasn't
he
gotten back
did
in.
say he got an error, he got kicked out, internet issues. Then Boinky's keeping with Staffy making sure Quinton not really pulling away. That the gap is still pretty much staying at 9.5, 9.6. It's been there for a bit. Not really opening up, not really closing. We know just holding on just for DRS.
Not Kimi, just
We
increased
have
the gap to
we have an
second.
individual here in 14th place that I feel like I have to mention. We don't see him every race, so when we do see him, I feel like we should mention.
And
Judge.
he was so adventurous last week. He actually started the race in reverse gear.
He started the race in reverse gear.
It was actually one of those, well, okay, not so famous, but if I say famous, famous Codemaster glitch. Technically speaking, you can't even do it because you engage gear. You actually hold down X and you throttle. So it should be already. And there we go. Force has managed to join, but at what cost? So anyway, so the
Let's
judge
just hope
actually
he,
engaged
let's
throttle
hope
and
he can
stuff.
take control of a car.
So as the judge actually, engaged the clutch and he actually now let go of the clutch to start the race as the lights went out, his car actually went backwards rather than moving forwards. Oh, and then force left again. And of course, as a result, he got disqualified. And actually, it said there, the judge disqualified reverse on the start grid. The very first time I actually saw that glitch on Codemasters. Because technically speaking, you can go try until you're blue in the face. You can't do that if you try to reverse on the start grid.
I've seen a lot of glitches on Codemasters. I mean, well, I've been online since the 2017 game, but I haven't seen that one.
Quinton did open the gap to Staffy, almost a second gained.
Maybe something that will happen on very rare occasion. Actually, there's a few
chasing
that I haven't
Boinkies.
seen
Follow
in a
Vino
while.
following.
Force joins again. I think he's having trouble taking
Internet.
control of that
Definitely
car.
internet issues.
I hope he's not getting in and not being able to take control of the car. We know how frustrating that can be. Quinton still leads. He leads from Staffy. That gap just growing slightly.
Even more now,
10.5
it is a
seconds
second
now.
pretty much gained in the last lap or so. If you look at the total time
Boinky's
gained.
third.
Not Kimmy with
Kimmy, he's in
DRS.
fourth. Not far behind. He's,
Not Kimmy's got DRS. He's actually going to put Boinkies under pressure. I don't think this first DRS zone, but definitely the start-finish line, which is a much longer straight. And of course, they're not far off Staffy. Because not and Staffy runs wide. Staffy runs wide. Here we go. Not Kimmy actually have a chance to get past both Pinkies. Not Kimmy's going to go on the inside.
Needs to be careful.
And he does. He got past Boinkies. Looks like there was a bit of a lag there. If you look at that on the stream, there was a bit of lag there from almost looked like Boinkies. One moment he was one side, one moment the other. So whichever way, not Kimmy safely through. He's past Boinkies, so he's now chasing down Steph, and he's actually going to have DRS. So he's actually making bit of it to Pinkies, so he can chase after Quinton. And he's got the pressure rubber to use.
He's in a good position now
because
obviously
DRS will be wide open. Not Kimmy staying in the slipstream as well. Vino with another fastest lap. Not Kimmy right at the end. He's going to dive on the inside. He's actually going to do it. Goes a bit deep. Can Staffy? No, Staffy can't. He can't counter. Staffy Kimmy will have DRS. No, Staffy didn't. He and Quinton and Boinkies are still on the tyres they started with. So not Kimmy into second. So Staffy now under pressure from Vino.
Yeah, he's in second, 12 seconds adrift of the leader, but that leader still needs to pit. So we know if the pit stop goes...
dive on the inside of Staffy.
If the pit stop goes really well, you've got a perfect entry, perfect exit, and you get going when you're supposed to. That's going to be about 25 seconds.
Vino don't want Kimmy to get away from him. Both will push that together gap. After Quinton.
From a 12-second lead to a 12 or 13-second deficit. We'll promote Vino up to second when he does. Staffy also needing to pit, Boinky's needing to pit. All of them, Boinky, Staffy and Quinton, they're all on those mediums that they started the race with.
Not Kimmy behind Chen now, but might have given him DRS. You would hope so, because then he can try to pull a bit of a gap on Vino. No, it did not.
Boinky's into the pits.
And also Quinton, so that puts Kimmy and Vino back into first and second respectively. Staffy stayed out. Staffy, the only guy still on his tyres he started with.
Staffy stays out. That promotes Nismax up to fourth. Not Sebastian up to fifth. Gavin sixth.
Yeah, Nismax ahead of Not Sebastian, and that will be wonders for Nismax, because if things finish as it is, Nismax will actually take the lead in the championship.
The problem
Sebastian going to be doing everything he can to get in front of Nismax, but it's just lap 23 or 57. We're not even at halfway distance yet.
There's still a long way to go. So obviously, we get all excited about this, but it can actually swap the other way around again. We've seen it so often. So it's
a lot easier to work out halfway distance.
So it's going to be either Nismax in front, or pretty much we're going to be even on points. So as it is now, Not Sebastian and Nismax pretty much getting more serious in the fight for the championship.
AD and Carter Boy having a bit of a tussle.
Nismax running wide. It's going to allow Not Sebastian to get a heck of a lot closer.
Springbok Gamer. Springbok Gamer being 11th. just 4 seconds of this Carter Boy AD battle. So if these guys keep each other busy, that gives him a perfect opportunity to gain. And of course, if they trip over each other, that will allow him at least 2 places up. So yeah, a lot actually happening again. For a while there was nothing, but now all of a sudden there's plenty of action.
All over the back of Staffy.
We go, and
Goes up
surely
the
he's going to make it.
Does he have him, or will he hold on to it? Holds on to it for the time being.
He's got fresher rubber. He can use those DRS to his advantage. Gavpik also under immense pressure from Quinton.
There's Max versus Staffy, both of them on a set of medium. Staffy obviously 23 lap old mediums. Those are the oldest tyres on the circuit at the moment. So this Max just needs to stay there, stay close. Now they're approaching. That's a
Nismax.
As I said, that Nismax jumps to the inside. Oh,
no, that was a
ghost car.
That's a ghost car. That was actually a ghost car who had an X behind him, and that's actually what caught Nismax out, because that car showed an X.
Disconnected car.
That's a disconnected car. That was not, I just want to put it on stream, it was not Force's fault. We all saw it was a couple of laps ago. We actually left the session. He tried to rejoin and retake in that vehicle, but unfortunately the X-Vish confirmed that that vehicle was definitely not a human control car, and I think that's actually what caught Nismax out. He saw the X, so thinking he's going to drive through it, not realizing ghosting is off, because ghosting off means that the guys who get a blue flag must pull over, because the guys can't drive through them. And the same with a ghost car. The car doesn't really ghost. You need to pass it like you would pass a normal car.
Unfortunately, that's something like, I wish in the game they could make an option where you could separate that. Okay? Where if somebody gets disconnected, they ghost. But if they're being lapped, they don't ghost. But unfortunately, it's all of the one or none of the other.
Yeah, correct.
Foss is still on circuit. That car will continue on circuit, and hopefully it won't cause any more mayhem. But
that's something
no safety cars.
No, and just a few yellow flags, and that was it. I just wish that's something Codemasters want to work on as well. Something like that. If you have a car like that with somebody disconnected, rather let the car retire or something that it somehow gets out of a race, because the last thing you want is a car like that ghosting, so called, and actually affecting someone's race.
Ooh, what happened to Gav?
Gavpik all of a sudden fall off because he and Quinton fighting, and all of a sudden he just had a slow getaway out of a corner, and that actually gave Quinton lots of breathing space, and Quinton right in the back of Staffy. Staffy finally coming in. Staffy into the pits.
Look at if you want to have a look at the lead, it's just 0.6 of a second between Not Kimmy and Vino. Nothing in it at the front. It's your closest battle on circuit at the moment. We've got Chen coming up to that, in inverted brackets, ghost car of Force. That's not ghosting. Obviously we switched that off at the beginning of the season.
But that was also by vote, where the majority of the vote was they want the ghosting off. And this is unfortunately the downside of it.
And this is obviously what the other side of the argument was arguing. But it's happened to me as well. Driven through a car with an X that I thought I'd go through it, and I didn't. So
I've also been in that situation before in Kubai front wing.
And especially in that situation, there wasn't a lot Nismax could be, you know, he wasn't going down a straight or something. He was in a sequence of corners, he had cars all around him.
And then next move it was like the car just hit the brake in front and there was nowhere to go for him.
It was all just a bit of a mess, and really what that AI car does, we have no idea. If he's braking 100 meters too early, there's nothing we can do about that.
That car should just fall out, because there was no AI in the race to start with. So that car should just retire all over. But yeah, work in motion for Codemasters as Quinton goes and posted the fastest lap, 1:32.
Kimi continues to lead, just stretching that gap a little bit now. 8/10 of a second, 9/10 of a second. He's going to want to grow it above the second, obviously, so that he can get out of that crucial DRS. Can be really annoying when that car behind you is just able to hold on every time you get to a straight.
Tough luck,
Sebastian's still doing a good job.
Not the type of race you wanted. A good week for you and until this happened, but yeah, like you said, unfortunately it looks like the car just braked when you came along, and you actually had a good run up there in fighting and actually got into a position where you took the place. And yeah, there was the AI car. I'm not sure why AI must take control of your car when you crash out. It should just be, that's it, goodbye, no more. But anyway, as it is, it's done and dusted, it's over. Quinton looks like gaining a bit on not Sebastian, who is still falling back to Vino and Kimi. So even those two in front chasing each other, they still get away. They would want to open up that gap.
He's holding on to Kimi for now, not letting him go. 6/10 of a second is the gap, so he's staying within that DRS. It's going to help him just.
Staffy's going to have a look on his teammate again. Staffy's within DRS. Again, Staffy and Boinkies, just like earlier. AD managed to push his softs 20 laps. That's the longest really on the soft.
Really good battle at the front. Really good battle at the front. He's in DRS every time and he gets really close. Hasn't made a move just yet. Got pretty close the last time around.
And Staffy goes fast as a 132.1.
Nicely done, 132.
Just to show Boinkies he is the car that need to be in front. And he's actually going to have a go, and he actually do pass Boinkies on the inside, coming down the start-finish line DRS. And he actually had the drag reduction all the way enough to get the momentum into the first corner. And of course now into the next DRS range, he had DRS again. So well and truly Staffy in front of Boinkies yet again. So 2 races in a row now where these two are racing and Staffy coming out on top. Of course, we just about halfway, so still anything can happen. But already twice in this race alone we saw Staffy ending up in front of Boinkies.
Gap at the front just doesn't want to grow. Half a second in it. Staying within that DRS, so crucial. Obviously don't know what they're doing in terms of their, well, we do know what they're doing, it's on screen.
Okay,
so both of them are actually in overtake going down the straight, so both of them pushing on those sets of mediums, identical
Boinkies
sets of mediums.
Back. Staffy getting away from Boinkies. By the way, we're not Fernando, there's a comment for you on the stream. Call it a compliment if you want, whichever way you look at it. I see you actually, your voice reminds the people of a rugby commentator and actually make them miss rugby.
I think if people told me I sound like Hugh Bladen.
Oh hell no.
Because I won't be impressed. What rugby commentator?
Can't be Hugh Bladen, no. Oh no.
It's not that guy that says, unbelievable.
That is you, Bladen. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You unbelievable, Bladen. Oh, Caraboy with the second penalty again, and not Kimi just still managing to put his car just in all the right places, fighting off Vino.
Vino got that gap down to 2/10 though.
But it's been there before, but it's just somehow, even with DRS, not Kimi just managed to fend him off, just using his ERS and so forth at the right time. Not Sebastian are 8 seconds behind them, but he won't be two-faced because his biggest championship rivals, unfortunately, Nismax did not finish. A couple of the other guys are off on points, so he's still in a good place. Not Kimi now going to stay on the inside. Vino's going to have to go on the outside, look a long way.
Vino's on overtake with DRS open, goes around the outside. It's not going to work, tries the switchback. Not going to work, not quite yet. Needs to stay as close as he can for that second DRS.
DRS, and he's taking a bit of slipstream there. But not Kimi stays alongside him and still fights him up on the inside.
A little bit of a touch, no damage. Everybody's still got their
end plates.
Their end plates, so that's usually a good sign. What Kimi still leads 2/10 of a second is the gap.
Quinton now within DRS to not Sebastian.
All the action at the front. Not Sebastian getting some private time, some open air. He can catch up while these two battle away.
To the inside again, so now Vino's going to go on the outside. Not Kimi staying on the inside there. Very close again. And here is not where you want to get too much. Oh, Vino puts one wheel on the curb, but he manages to keep the car straight, not like what happened to Gaffbeek earlier. It's always a tricky one there. If you just put one wheel on slightly on that curb, you can so easily spin in that corner.
Okay, yeah, that whole rugby commentator thing has now exploded into 4 comments. Fantastic. Rugby commentary is apparently my thing. I always thought of myself more as a cricket commentator, but okay, apparently.
Okay, so people think you played unbelievable, boyki.
Unbelievable.
There we go, Mr. Ubladen.
Oh, I love it. Right. Not Kimi still leads that gap just a little bit bigger, 5/10 of a second, not much, nothing in it. Just see Vino now saving up a little bit of ERS. He's turned it down to 1.
Actually gained a bit on them. That gap to is now under 8. But of course he have a battle of his own here with Quinton. Because Quinton on the softer tyres, so he's got the speed advantage. But he only have that many laps left on these tyres before we start going off. Where the mediums tend to come back into so interesting times. And all the battles again is in the top 5. Because no one else at the moment seems to be in a battle. Oh, and we got a yellow flag. But that's 80 and Carterboy still going at it.
There we go, Quinton has just gotten past Sebastian. Look at that, Quinton gets past Sebastian, opens up DRS. Gets past pretty easily. Now Sebastian's going to have to chase him down, get that position back, but I don't know if he can. Quinton's obviously on a fresh set of softs, just 8 laps old.
Sebastian's still staying in range, he should be able to have DRS.
I was on those softs earlier on in the race.
Quinton and chase after these guys in front. Vino again just too far back, he's not able to gain on Kimi in the DRS range. Oh, and Quinton is actually, for a moment, looked like he's going to come into the pit. That's how close he went to the pit wall.
Not really a fan of the softs on this particular track. Did a couple of laps on them, and they're not... well, just to give you an example, I went out in qualifying and basically you out lap, 1 fast lap, in lap, and when I came into the pits, checked my tyres and they were on 10%.
Mr. Ubladen, Mr. Ubouch says that's unbelievable. So your rugby comments are still on there. It's growing. So there's more comments for you.
I see that. Yeah, they're growing. They're growing. Unbelievable.
Oh, Carter Boy now leaving the session. I think 80
well, that's definitely not unbelievable. That's
But 80 now will have 2 ghost cars in front of him. I'm not sure if Force rejoined that car. Well, rejoined and took control of that car. Not sure because 80 is 5 seconds, 6 seconds behind. Just depending on how quick that gap actually change. It's still increasing, so it's possible that Force might be in control of that car again.
Carterboy rejoins the session. Let's see how long it takes for him to retake control of his car. Last thing we want is another so-called ghost car on the circuit causing havoc. Not Sebastian, still in 4th, Quinton in 3rd, Vino 2nd. He's just a 10th of a second.
Here we go, not Kimi and Vino, not Kimi. It's got the outside line. Can you have a better line this time? Just this time Vino positioned his car perfectly. But not Kimi with a good drive out. He's on the inside. Vino thought about driving into the inside, but thought better of it, and that allows not Kimi back into first place again. But Vino not letting him off the hook this time.
Nothing in it, and you can't say it's Vino's the tyres. The one's got fresher tyres, or the one's got the better compound. They've got the exact same compound, and they've got the exact same age. 15 laps apiece. Both on a set of mediums, matching each other's pace lap for lap. Absolutely brilliant. 8/10 of a second now the gap, so it's bigger than it's been in a while. Kimi just needs to get his head down. He now opens DRS. It's his time to chase.
Obviously, he would just like to get closer and closer and use the next DRS zone.
Can you? I don't know what I don't know what camera you're on, but can you just get your camera on Vino? And he's got like that Venus. He's got like a bit of an X there on the. It looks like an Xbox. I'm just. Yeah. Every time I see this car, I'm like Xbox. There we go. Vino still leads that gap 9/10 of a second. So getting dangerously close.
Yeah,
getting dangerously close to falling out of DRS. He's gonna wanna speed it up. Let's have a look. Saving DRS, I mean ERS, sorry about that. He's on 0 ERS, so he's doing some saving. That's obviously why he's falling back a little bit. Lap 34 of 57. Still a long way to go, and probably another round of pit stops for everyone who didn't select the hards. 3 drivers on hards. And be taking the tire to the end, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. Foss is in control of that car because that gap is now to him and Carterboy is now only 11th, and it's the gap to 80 grew to almost 10. So it looks like that is definitely Foss back in control of that car.
Just having a look at Carterboy's car. Seems like he's also in control. We know he left the session earlier on. Springbok Gamer doing a good job. 8th place. Solid race. Gavin in 7th. Started further up the grid. Boinkies, he's in 6th. Staffy's still doing a good job. He's in 5th place. Soft's 8 laps old, so still relatively fresh. Sebastian, he's 1.8 seconds adrift off Quinton. Just getting away now a little bit on those fresher softs, but those softs are going to fall off. And that should bring Sebastian back up into podium contention. And then the gap at the front hasn't really changed, 7/10 of a second.
Nope.
Both on mediums, both 17 laps old.
I think it's still better to be in the car behind in a position like this. Of course, in front you need to always look back to see where the guy is, where does he position his car, and that's enough to put you off your game, missing your brake points, etc, etc. So of course, if you look at it like that, that is why I say the car chasing is actually in a better position, because he sees the guy in front, he reacts to what he does. So like, if Vino for argument's sake dives into the pits now, not Kimi have the opportunity to dive in with him or do another lap or two on the set of tyres. So yeah, that's actually what Vino used to his advantage while sitting behind, because the other thing as well, you can study the car in front. You can study the lines that he takes, and actually from there decide where you're going to go for the overtake, etc. So it's not all over, and especially with this gap, as much as it looks like it's going to go outside of DRS, it's actually been within DRS for the last few laps. So we'll have to see how this one pans out. We're not just doing enough to counter not Kimi in the DRS zones, so that he can't get that first of all of the slipstream, and then that boost with having obviously DRS wide open. Here we go, it's another DRS zone, but he's just too far back. He's not going to really gain on Vino.
Just not getting enough. Not really using the ERS for now, so I think he knows he's too far back. Just building up the ERS, and unfortunately, if we were playing F1 27, I'm not sure if 2018 did it, but I know on 2017 you could see what fuel mixture they were using. But you can't see that anymore. But we can see the ERS. Was he saving up, filling it up, so he can have another go?
Codemasters actually found out that there's people like Staffy who listen to the stream and keep like one eye about on the stream while racing and using it to their advantage. Gav pick now 131, fastest lap. So he haven't given up yet. He's still
everyone who is watching, everyone who is listening, thank you very much for averaging out at the 7 viewers, and we briefly jumped to 12 viewers. I'm not sure what happened, but just give us a like. It all helps in the algorithm, and more likes we get, the more people are going to see the video. So Just hit a like if you're
So-
enjoying, and great battle here at the front. I think it's worth a like. Let's go
Okay.
first and second. 7/10 of a second is the gap.
So Rob's
Back into DRS.
We're currently on lap 36 out of 57.
That's right, 19 laps to go. Fortunately, I was educated in the East Rand, so I think it's 9. No, yeah, almost something like that. But
Actually 20 laps to go after this one. So
like I said, the East Rand. Okay, I don't come from the West, so. Still doing a good job, just staying there in second place.
Mr.
Obviously
Alice,
gonna
are you
get
still
that-
with us?
Still
I
there.
am, I'm listening.
Just,
Are you
just a bit
actually,
quiet.
or did Mr. You Blade and actually took you away and you're now in the moment?
Did I unfortunately take over your comms box?
No, I did. No, you have not. I'm just listening to the two of you. Such a lovely.
Don't go all soft on me now.
Plus, I'm just playing spot there at the moment for you guys.
Of course,
So-
just to remind everybody, not sure if, just in case not Fernando might have forgotten about it or missed it, we're actually doing a joint stream tonight. One guy is streaming on Twitch, one on YouTube. It's the same commentary though. Exactly what's on the one commentary is actually going to be on the other one. Just maybe different videos, because obviously one will be with a different car while the other one right on board with another car. But otherwise commentary is exactly the same.
We are on 3 streams, by the way.
Okay, there we go. There's not Fernando also obviously streaming his point of view.
And if you're watching my stream, then you can, yeah, don't watch my stream. If you don't watch my stream, then you just hear my voice and you think, wow. But there's a camera on my stream, so don't do that.
Yeah. This guy is
But I think
so
it's now just
unbelievable.
2:10.
He's on 3 streams at the same time. Oh, and Staffy he retired. Staffy is out.
2/10 of a
Kimmy's gone.
second. Kimmy going back. He's going up
Yes,
the inside now.
Kimmy's got Vino.
Nicely done. Let's go on board with Vino's car. See what happened there. He's just lost a bit of momentum now, coming out of the corner.
Vino is going
Gonna allow
slow.
Kimmy to.
But that's obviously safety car
That's
out.
a safety
why.
car. That's a
And now
safety
the
car.
Safety cars. That explains why Vino went slow for a moment and almost went past Kimi. That would have been a penalty. So Staffy's retirement brings out the first safety car on lap 38. More than half distance. So that's the first safety car. We didn't even see a virtual safety car either.
Right, so we get our first safety car on lap 38 of 57. That was obviously brought out by the Staffy retirement. That was unfortunate. He was having a strong race. He has now become the 3rd DNF. At least he wasn't the first DNF
Turning
like
to a
that
pitch,
clown.
taking
Not
advantage.
Fernando.
I'm
But,
for the two
I'm
of you.
This is gonna throw a
expecting-
spanner in the works.
I'm expecting the
because,
race leaders to pit because they've done 20 laps on these mediums and there's 19 laps to go. So I see these guys stopping, put on another set of mediums and they're done. They don't need to stop again. I expect
Think that-
actually Quinton to also do something like that.
I think that would be their best option. I think we're going to see a whole flurry of cars diving into the pit lane now. I hope the guys have
And not
checked
Kimi is in,
and
Vino
done their
is in.
mathematics, and everybody knows who's sharing a pit garage. Somebody has carried on. Not
So
sure
that's
who
one
that
of a
was.
slower
We'll
car.
have a
No,
look.
that is actually a back marker and Quinton is also in.
So your top 3
Oh, spinning
all
in
in
the
the
pit lane,
pits.
5-second penalty for Quinton.
Quinton won't
And
be
not
happy
Kimi
with that.
rejoins in front of Vino. So not Kimi and Vino both on mediums as well as Quinton. So the top 3 has stopped. Not
Another
Sebastian as
5-second
well.
penalty. Thank you very much,
And
guys.
Gap
7
Pick in the
viewers,
pits as
6
well.
likes. That's fantastic. I know we've got 7 viewers and 6 likes, and I know exactly why. Because the other one can't like because he's driving. Well, he probably disliked because it's Steffi. But Steffi, thanks for that was a good race. You were doing pretty well, and now you've spiced up the race on your way out. So good
That's
job.
Steffi for you. You're always spicing things up.
So
So the
now it's
top
going to be a
4
bit of a shootout.
But
These
top 4
last
are all on
laps.
fresh mediums on the same. So they actually got the same tyre and the same age tyre for the remainder of the race. So this is going to be a all-out battle, 4-way battle actually now for the lead, because they will be bunched up as well as a result of a safety car. So some interesting times these last 18 laps.
Definitely leaving the session, not sticking around to watch. He's had enough. Obviously, at
Probably
the
a bit
restart,
upset with himself there.
Kimi will lead at the restart. He's
And
going to
by
have
the way,
Vino right
Mr.
behind him, hungry on a new set of tyres.
Mr.
Yes.
Jonathan Bladen, I made a comment. You have such an unbelievable voice. You stream on 3 channels at the same time. I see your namesake, you Bladen wannabe, actually said that is unbelievable. It's unbelievable you streaming on 3 channels at the same time. Your voice on 3 channels.
Oh yeah, my sewing. You know, I don't like my voice. I never listen to my streams, by the way. So I've only listened to one of my streams twice, and that's because they got copyright, and I needed to sit and fix them. And it was very agonizing sitting there listening to myself. I don't like it.
I also don't watch streams where I commentate.
It's gonna be an interesting restart. A lot of the guys getting a second opportunity at things. Don't forget about Gavin.
Yes.
Gavin is gonna restart in 5th place. His tyres might
But
not
he
be as
didn't
fresh
stop.
as the top 4, but only 7 laps
Only
old.
7 laps. He's still got life left.
A lot of life in those
And
tyres.
the
And
safety car also now helping to prolong those tyres.
Gavin, one of the
Dwayne also
quicker
back
drivers.
in the mix 2 laps.
So I
So
think
top 6
top
actually
6
on those
there.
mediums. And Springbok Gamer, don't leave out Springbok Gamer. But he's just some time away from him. But he's on soft.
He's on a set of softs. So I don't know. At the end there, I think
He was
I don't know,
actually the car
we've
that
seen
went
people-
past because he was let go by the safety car. So he's trying to push and gain from behind while the safety car do another lap. He's trying to get to the back of those guys. So by the time we restart, that he can actually be in there and use those softs to his advantage.
Here we go. How much longer will the safety car stay out?
If all goes
We
well,
want to
it will
get
be
going.
coming
We
in.
want to
I
see a
think
race.
the safety car's coming in this lap.
We're looking at the gaps. We're looking at the tires, and everything is lining up to be a race to the end.
Of a finish. Oh, and Vina now with a penalty.
3-second penalty.
That's crucial. That 3-second penalty, fighting here for the lead. That is actually what can give the lead away.
Sorry about that, Steph. Just one mistake, he says. That's sometimes all it takes. It just has to be at the wrong part of the circuit. And says he clipped a curb. So I don't know if he's referring to the famous curb in
Penalty
in
for 80
Sector
now.
3. But now all sorts of penalties coming through here under the safety car, guys. Just getting a little bit frustrated. We've all been there.
We said it before, just again, under the safety car, the yellow flag conditions, the penalties will be more severe. And there we go, Vina with a 5-second penalty. Not in yellow flag.
That's 8
All of a
seconds.
sudden, 8 seconds in just
8 seconds.
less than 2 laps. And of
Might
course,
just,
that will play into
might
not
just-
Kimi's hand. Safety car not coming
Also,
in as I thought.
also play into the drivers behind him. No, the usually you know when that safety car is coming out if you just watch those lights.
Go out.
When the lights on the roof go
But
out,
this
the lights
is
are still
playing
on,
into in Springbok Gamer's hand, because he's now on the same straight as the guys in front. So he's going to be right at the back of him, and he's on the fresh set of softs. So he's got the faster tires. So maybe he can make some places.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He's got that set of softs, and crucially, not 16 laps to go. Obviously, he did a few laps here behind the safety car, so prolonging the life of those softs a little. Gavin, don't forget about Gavin. He's in 5th. Those mediums just 9 laps old, and they're not 9 laps of race pace. Some of that's been behind the safety car, so they're also relatively fresh. And then Kimi and Vino, it seems like we've just been robbed of a battle here a little bit, with the penalties that have come under the one and only safety car in this race so far.
Would have been nice if these lap cars and stuff could have unlapped themselves, and these guys could have been in the right position, in the right order once the race resumed. Because now you got a couple of lap cars in between the guys, so it's just making the battle a little bit difficult. Luckily, the top 4 don't have that to worry about. And Gapik
Yeah,
actually, yeah,
Steffi
Gapik's got
just,
Carterboy between him and the car in front.
Steffi just confirming that it was that long right-hander in sector 3. Yeah, I actually didn't hit that today at all. I didn't hit it in practice. I didn't hit it in the race, but retired
And
somewhere
80 as well,
completely
oh
different.
boy. Gapik with
But
actually 2 lap cars between him.
I just
Actually
think the
3.
guys want to be careful with.
Safety car coming in. We're finally going to get some proper racing again.
The thing the guys want to be careful with is obviously they've been behind the safety car for a while. These tires are going to be cold.
And not going to be
Just,
becoming the safety car now as well, so he will bunch them all up and just picking his timing at the right time. He will let go of it again. Just warming up the tires, weaving. There we go. Looks like he decided to go. We're back racing.
Obviously throw that
He
car.
caught Vino napping a little bit. Bit of a gap there already. And Quinton actually responding to that as well. And Quinton under pressure from Sebastian. Not Sebastian diving on the inside. Not Sebastian is through. Now Not Sebastian's going to chase after Vino. All of a sudden, a 1-2 for Not Sober is actually on the cards because Not Sebastian also so far penalty free. So Vino really going backwards here on penalty. So as things stand at the moment, both Quinton and Not Sebastian will finish ahead of Vino.
Penalties will play a part, and that time behind the safety car will become crucial. The guys need to remember, they need to make a point of remembering that
Gapik being held up by lap cars. I hope they actually realize that he's coming to lap him and they don't fight him too hard. But at the moment he's still not being able to get past 80. 80 is holding up, he's costing Gapik dearly. Gapik had to go wide there and as a result got another warning, and that ended up in a 3-second time penalty.
Guys really got to be careful under the safety car. We've seen it time and time again. I've done it myself. And Steffi just saying there in the comment section, it comes down to the deltas and not obeying your deltas.
Correct.
And then under the safety car, it really doesn't give you that second opportunity or that warning.
Quinton wants that place back from Not Sebastian, putting Not Sebastian under pressure. Not Kimi goes faster, just for Vino to go faster. Not Sebastian fighting off onto the inside line. Vos is there trying to unlap himself, got a bit of corner there, but it didn't help. Still got Quinton to contend with to unlap himself there. Vino on the verge of falling out of DRS range to Kimi. Not Sebastian, not able to get hold on to the guys in front. Also I need to look in his mirrors, fading off Quinton. Boinkies into first, Springbok Gamer in 6th. Gapik down to 7th. Traffic not really helping Gapik's scores. 7 and 8 at the moment for Flarko with 12th place. So points for Flarko from all 3 drivers so far, if things were to end as is now. Of course, Force did manage to regain control of his vehicle. Quinton now outside of DRS. Fighting off Force, who's in 8th place, obviously trying to unlap himself. Vino goes fastest again, and he's actually right on the back of not Kimi. He would desperately want to get past Kimi so he can try to pull away and make up some time to counter that penalties that he got so far. 13 laps to go after this one.
Currently not 1-2. If penalties remain the same.
Correct. And you would
we
be
don't
happy
have another safety car that just yeah, good job for the team. I'm not doing so good for myself. According to the comments, I should come to the comms box and stay here. I'll, my one lap pace is right up there, but I don't know. Finishing races
Vino outside the race now
hasn't
from
really been
Kimi.
my best this season. Still fighting. Let me just see if I can get an idea of penalties. Just going through Kimi's name. Kimi has no penalties to speak of, just the one warning. Vino has 2 penalties.
Yeah,
so,
8 seconds.
And then
Not
Sebastian with the 1 penalty.
Which is still 5 seconds, because that would be 3 seconds, so it's 5 seconds that Vino still have more. So as it is, Not Sebastian will be promoted into second and Quinton into third. But of course, 13 laps to go after this, there is still the possibility of penalties being picked up.
Did Gavin pick up a drive-through?
Well, something went wrong, and I think that's probably that because safety car and safety car issues, because it dropped 2 places, and I mean, being in 5th, 13 seconds behind Springbok Game in 6th, was 4 seconds behind Boinkies, who's 6 seconds, so that comes to what, 20 odd seconds, so that's actually equal a drive-through. It's possible.
And he hasn't changed the he hasn't changed the tires, so it wasn't a normal pit stop.
Correct.
And he lost a lot of time, so came in for a drive-through.
So, of course, Quintonal and Boinkies renowned for minimal to no penalties. So, Vino not in a good position at the moment. Of course, Boinkies still need to make up a bit time to counter, when he might actually also jump Vino. But as it is, he's just falling further back. So, unfortunately, it's only going to be Not Sebastian and Quinton if it is as is currently, if that gap somehow don't increase. Not Sebastian 1.5 seconds behind Vino, who's actually 1.5 seconds behind not Kimi. No close battles, just the judge and AD having a bit of a tussle at the back. AD now into 11th. Of course, just behind Chen who's in 10th. That's also where he finished last week for his first ever race. 100%, what a way to make your debut in online racing.
Well, not really a debut into online racing, it's more a debut
I'm
into
talking about F1 online racing.
Yeah.
We won't talk about his pedigree in like Project Cars, because there we know he's actually championship contender material.
Him, Muna and Wazi, all 3 of them, fighting for that nice prize of...
So Quinton, thank you Steph. So Quinton also running penalties. So Boinkies actually can get ahead of Quinton. But 1.5, so just maybe or just maybe not. Unless Boinkies push and make that gap a bit smaller. Not Sebastian now 1.7 behind. Still trying to catch up. Vino slightly gained on Kimi. Foss just trying to unlap himself again and then made a mistake which allowed Quinton to lap him again. And the judge back in front of AD. Ooh, the judge looks like he had a bit of an off there. And we're pretty much in the last stint of this race. 10 laps to go after this lap. Kimi got the gap open to 1.5 again. Not Sebastian staying in touch with Vino. Perhaps they are aware of a penalty, so not Sebastian. No, you just need to stay with Vino, have a gap of less than 8 seconds when he will jump Vino. So as he's not Sebastian will continue to lead the championship. Bit of a gap between him and Nismax now.
Nine laps to go. Not Kimi still leads. 1.5 seconds is the gap from him to Vino. Obviously penalties will play a role. Not Sebastian third on track. Probably second when considering penalties. I haven't worked out that gap to Quinton, but I think Quinton might, he can stay close enough.
But
Gonna get himself another podium.
But Staff did manage. Quintus got penalties. He saw a 3 and then possibly a 5, which is the same as Vino. So then he's not going to really actually make a move on Vino. So pretty much I think the top 3 will be as is now. Not Kimi, not Sebastian, Vino, and then of course Quinton in 4th. Because Boinky's just a little bit too far back to gain on those penalties. Because it's 8 seconds there for Quinton and Vino. And he's on 9.1, so still a second off to get into that top 4, pretty much. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. He can. But yeah, let's see what happens. There's still a couple of laps left. Gap's not that big, but nobody in DRS from the car in front of him. So we're not going to see much close racing at the moment. I think it's also maybe that these guys have decided that it's it. Just now bring the car home. Don't push too hard. Don't risk it all now. You've come this far. You've done more than 3 quarters. Now it's just to get it through to in this last stint.
From 8th down to 11th, all of those cars, they're a lap behind. So on the lead laps, you've only got your top 7. Gavin, he's just that 10 seconds adrift off Springbok Gamer. Springbok Gamer on the softs. If those softs do start to fall away, Gavin may get a extra bunch of points potentially if he can catch up.
But not really gaining on Springbok Gamer.
Just staying around 10 seconds.
Gap is coming down, but not as fast as you would have think. Because for a while it actually stayed on 11, so now the gap started dropping. Because those soft tires also will start going off. Not Sebastian, almost 3.5 seconds now off the race leaders. We know that come closer to not Kimi.
So interesting stat. The fastest lap on the race for 2019 was Charles Leclerc on a 1:33.4.
Okay, 1:33.4.
Vino did a 130.9. So roughly everybody down to Carter Boy is doing faster lap times than what the real F1 guys were doing last year.
Of course, we always talked about Mr. Statsman. You know who it is. Now it looks like we can start calling Devin Mr. Statsman.
Right on board with Vino now on lap 50 of 57. Still in second place, 1.5 seconds adrift of your leader. Penalties are going to play a role. Everyone in that top 5 really in identical positions, almost identical tyres. Boinky's there having 12 lap old tyres, 13 lap old tyres. Everyone else having 12 lap old tyres, nothing much in it. Safety car just, I thought it would balance everything out and give us a real shootout to the end, but instead it gave us a whole flurry of penalties and rather messed things up. So, it's a little bit unfortunate as we watch this race wind down.
Yeah, you wanted that
Now
whole
everybody
sprint finish, but I
really
kind of
wanted-
dropped from it.
My commentary was ramping up to it. Just didn't happen. Now the guys are just going to be more interested in bringing those cars home in position.
Yeah, and your commentary was unbelievable.
Apparently so. Thanks for the comments, guys.
I would like to have you on a comment of a rugby challenge 3 or something like that.
Ugh.
Channel.
Ja, Arend die
Ja,
Fred,
I
jy kan dit weer, jy kan dit
don't-
check, jy kan die stream van die begin af check. Dit sal net nie live wees nie, maar jy kan nog steeds alles sien. Ja, Steffi, I see Mr. Spellcheck tried again. But you can't do spellcheck here and then disappear and then try every... If you want to be spellcheck, you need to stay there, on the ball all the time. So, Vina now 2 seconds behind, not Kimi, so not Kimi having some breathing space.
Getting
And
some
that
breathing
is pretty
space. I
much
wonder if
with everybody.
Vino just saw those penalties and it's just taken a little bit of the fight out of him. Not only would he have to get past Kimi, he'd have to get past him and open up a gap of what, 6-7 seconds. So it would be a very difficult task, and maybe just taking it out of him a little bit as that gap continues to grow. Now 2.2 seconds, just taking 2/10 out of him every other sector. Not Sebastian staying close, he's still in third. Quinton not far behind, he's actually closed that gap slightly down to third place.
Not
So he
Sebastian
might-
must just be careful here because that gap is now at 4 seconds, and if I'm not mistaken, you said he's got a 3-second penalty, so that's 5 seconds that Vino still got on him. So if it opens up to more than 5, Vino will stay ahead of not Sebastian.
Yeah, he could very well stay there. He needs
And
to also keep
Quentin
that
has
on
got
his
8
mind.
to balance it out, so then our top 4 might actually remain as is currently. Ooh,
I have
yellow
just
flag.
noticed Vino's helmet, and that is fantastic.
We actually got a car in that famous corner. Carter Boy actually went off. That corner everybody dread. That's
Really
like
nice
downhill
helmet
to
there,
the
Vino.
left before you get the DRS. Just to show everybody what my co-commentator is referring to.
Sorry, I'm forgetting what stream I'm on. I
There's
think
too
I
many
think
of them.
I think people can see what I'm seeing, and then I'm like, no, wait. There's only 2 viewers on my Twitch, so Johan needs to show what I'm talking about because that's the important one.
Yeah, the YouTube one is for mainstream, if you can call it that.
Everyone's on the YouTube. Obviously tonight doing a bit of an experiment. We've got Devin here hosting from, or uploading to rather, a Twitch channel.
Ooh,
So
gap
we
pick over
have
3-second time penalty again.
a stream going out to YouTube and Twitch tonight. Have my point of view also going out to Twitch tonight. So 3 different streams for the race.
And that gap is at 5 seconds, so then we have a situation where the top 4 will remain as is.
So 53 or 57. 1.8 seconds is the gap, so just coming down slightly again. Obviously as the drivers play around with their ERS.
Thanks Fred, bly mense waardeer it. Just got Fred there saying that he missed the good commentary. Nice to hear back from the guys. This is why we do it, and of course good feedback like that will actually make sure that we keep doing it. Not Sebastian
guys.
now being unlapped by Foss.
Thanks guys, it's much appreciated. I'll retire on lap 4.
And come do and be unbelievable again.
I'll retire on lap 4 just so I can do my Hugh Bladen impersonation. Fantastic.
Unbelievable, not
All
fantastic.
that preparation, and people just want me to say unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, but they want me to say it in that tone, and I'm not going to do it. No, not again.
Oh yeah, and here comes Staffy. Staffy with a bright spark suggestion. A tough one, but a good one if he can pull it off. We just need a good editor to edit the 3 streams together. Now imagine what
I am getting there. I am getting there.
Yeah, Jono's work in motion.
I've started only really playing with Twitch about 3 weeks ago, and yeah, when I don't understand things, I get frustrated quickly and I'll put them down. So it's taken a bit of time, but yeah, I'm actually getting there, and the stream itself is looking pretty good. I'm starting to get a better understanding of it. So yeah, we must see what we can do and try and put something together, maybe like a highlights package or something like that. Steffi, see you in the comment section. You were having a good race up until your crash. In a strong position at one stage.
Ahead of his
chasing
teammate.
me down at one stage. He was a bit of a headache to me at the beginning of the race.
He's giving his teammate a hard time in the last couple of races. Boinky's known as the fast guy in Nations 3, but the last 2 races Staffy proved everybody wrong, and he had actually other ideas.
The other advantage of streaming two formats at the same time, YouTube and Twitch. Obviously, you've got Johan streaming off one PlayStation, and then you've got Devon streaming off another. So, whichever stream you're watching, you're going to hear the same commentary, but you're going to have 2 different points of views. You're going to have 2 different cameras going. So, does give you that extra option. At 55 of 77.
Gapik now gaining on Springbok Gamers, so he's still pushing. But there is penalties that will come in play there as well. It's all about Flacker just able to salvaging some point.
I see Not Sebastian's got under 5 seconds again to Vino. Oh, they just jumped back up to 5 seconds.
Thanks Steph. Steph actually said what, he actually confirmed what me and Devon said earlier. Boinkies did allow Steph to come through because obviously, as we now know, that tyre wear issue. Where his tyres tend to wear faster, not sure what's happening there with the setup. And that's actually killing him at the moment. Gap pick now less than 2 seconds behind Springbok, but like I say, we still have penalties to play themselves out. We are on the penultimate lap. Gap in front is just under 2, and Not Sebastian did manage to bring the gap down to under 5. So he can still be in a position to jump Vino at the end. But he's got that car force in front, unless that is what's helping him closing this gap. Because Foss will allow him to get DRS. But Foss also run the risk of penalty if he can't get out of a blue flag zone. Because he will get the warnings to make the car behind pass him, because he's still being lapped. But in the meantime, Muna gets DRS, and that will actually pull him closer to the front guys. And here we go, Kimi started his final lap, so did Vino.
No real battles on the circuit to speak of on this final lap, so let's ride with your leader. Well, like I say, I keep on thinking people can see what I see. I apologize.
I am actually on board with our leader, so don't worry. I'm backing you up there.
There we go. We're right on board with the leader. Commentated enough times together. And somebody actually went purple there on the final lap in Sector 1. I'm not sure what that was, but Sector 1 just lit up in purple.
Of course, it's worth going. It's worth putting on some fresh boots and pushing for it if you're in that position. Those extra 2 points can be handy.
Might really help you in the points column, obviously towards your team.
Sebastian not able to hang on. It's going to be touch and go. Not Kimi now coming, approaching the final sector. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this will be not Kimi's 4th win for the season.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 4 on the trot.
No, it's actually 3 on the trot. Then last week, unfortunately, broke the streak, and now tonight
okay.
again. Here we go, and not Kimi crossing finish line, and he actually got the fastest lap, a 1:30. So there's no one else can surprise that he actually got it. And not Sebastian did indeed got in front of Vino. But that means Not Sober 1 and 2, with Vino in 3rd, Quint in 4th. Boinkies will bring it home in 5th. And with his teammate Springbok Gamer behind him.
Steph just commenting a few things could improve on the spectator mode. Can't see who's on the fastest lap. That's true. I did see the purple sector. I saw it on the mini map. I mentioned it. I didn't know who it was. I mean, there's multiple cars on the.
As he crossed the finish line, actually, it was not Kimi who got it. AD also now over. We're just waiting for Judge to cross in 12th. There we go.
There we go. Nicely done. There's the F1 music that's going to cause a copyright later. Press X now, please. Somebody press X.
I did.
There we go. I think it was on for a tad too long. Let's hope for the best.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, with the comments. Thank you with all the unbelievable racing comments. Nice. It's been fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. How you gotta do. There we go.
Just confirmation. How they finished. Not Kimi indeed got the fastest lap in the end. A 1:30.2. Everybody all the way down to 12 got points. Of course, for finishing outside 12, we had a couple of non-finishers, 10 with a good 9th place. So just bear with me. Just want to see if I can get those top 3 characters in here. Just give me a second.
Who are obviously a lot better drivers than myself, and then Vino in 3rd place. Unlucky really with way too many penalties, just coming under that safety car period and messing things up.
Just waiting to see if we can get them in here.
I think did Quentin steal the fastest lap at the end?
Just give me a second. I did actually take a shot of it.
I'd have to go back on the stream and look, but
I actually got a picture there.
I was just glancing down and
you actually right. Well spotted there, Mr. Fernando. I said Kimi, but no, actually Quentin stole it in the end. Kimi did a 1:30.29 and Quentin a 1:30.12. So yes, Quentin stole it in the end. The thief. The thief. Okay, we got somebody here with us finally. Guys, took very sweet time. We got 2 of our top 3 here, the first 2.
I'd be here with my voice in the post interview blah de blah, but I'm going to be asking questions. So
he was here waiting for you guys. Actually, your good luck charm, making sure that you 2 end up here. Boys, I must say, what a race. We had Flaka actually right in front. It was pretty much Flaka, not sober, teammate behind teammate. And a brilliant start there from Gaspeak. And of course, once again, not Kimi also with a good start. And Force running wide there, and it was China all over there in the start. and not Kimmy. You got past Gaffbeak. He chased you for a bit, and then it was Vino, and Vino never let go of you. I mean, you must be tired because that gap never really opened up. And at one stage, he briefly was in front of you, and you had to fight your way back into first place.
Yeah, you know, it's so. He was saving ERS and being tactical, and after defending about 10 laps, I thought, you know, if he passes, and then it will give me an opportunity to save up some fuel and all that, and that's what happened. And when I thought I had a little bit more pace, and I went for the overtake, as I overtook him, the safety car came out, and yeah, from there I knew it's gonna be balls to the wall racing to the end.
And that safety car kind of like killed it in the end, because it looked like we're going to have a close and a full out sprint to the end, and then just Vino picking up a few penalties, and that kind of basically spoiled it.
Well, I wasn't sure about these penalties or not. I was so focused, and I didn't want to, you know, press buttons in the menu to ask Jeff what's going on. And believe me, at the end there, that last 17, 20 laps or however long it was, for me to stay out of reach of his DRS, it was a battle and a half. Yeah.
But he didn't have a chance to come back at you again, and once you got out of DRS, you made sure he stayed out of DRS.
Yeah, but it was hard work. It was proper hard work.
Not Sebastian, you were up there, top 4 qualifying, and then a bit of a bad start, losing a few places, and you had to fight your way back. And basically with that safety car, you were there in the top 4 fighting. And of course a bit of a help here with that penalty. But first of all, what happened with the start? All of a sudden you're just dropping back.
I do not know. The lights were still on and everyone left, and I thought, whoa, okay.
It was me in Russia.
You had a not gimme move in Russia where everybody pulled away, and you were like, but my lights are red.
Yeah, it's the second race in a row. It was the same like that last week at Silverstone.
Oh,
no, I don't know what's going on, but it's fine.
Looks like each team has got their own type of curse which hold them back.
Yeah.
And not a good night for BBP, so which means not sober getting good points as well. So the gap might be closing a little bit again.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully.
And of course, your main rival at the moment, I'm calling it at the moment because you two were closest at the, of course, going into this race. Your closest rival will be unfortunate with a retirement. AI car that looked like a break in front of him, and he had nowhere to go. So that's obviously a good thing for you, because that actually opened your gap, and also it's good for in the team battle.
No, of course. When I saw what happened, I thought, I'm not even going to lift. I'm keeping my foot flat. I'm just going around it. I don't care.
and luckily, no safety car, no VSC, nothing happened. Just a few yellow flags, and we were racing again.
Yeah, I was actually a bit surprised by that. It was just quite big carnage there.
But even Quinton there keeping you a bit honest there as well.
Well, and I had to pull a Daniel Ricciardo move on for it. It was a lick stand and send it, Baba.
And then, and of course, you also had to stay alert because you had that car force where you unlapped himself, but actually somehow that was a bit of an advantage because that put you in DRS. And with the DRS open, you managed to stay within that 5-second gap just to make sure that you finish ahead of Vino thanks to that penalty.
Yeah, no, that helped a crap load. That's why I think Force is straying a bit, because I think that gave him a few penalties.
But you scored because you got some time just keeping you under that 5 second.
Yeah, but the timing screen again was broken on my side.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what's going on.
This game, the glitches and stuff. Yet we do it week after week.
It's getting all the glitches in time for the new one, boys.
Yeah, no,
the glitches are coming out in time for the new one.
Every patch now brings a new glitch just to make you all give up and make sure you buy 2020.
Every patch that comes out now breaks the game.
Just to make sure you move over.
Don't download that stuff. So I know, but I think you must be happy with the second place you weren't too keen on the race.
No, it's been one of those weeks, and I'm just glad. I was actually, if someone had told me you could finish 5th, I was like, okay, I'll be happy with that. But
And then you got a few extra places just for added bonus.
yeah, that to me is a bonus. Because
Of
going to
course.
these next few tracks, I'm going to enjoy it.
Kimi, of course, got his fastest lap right at the end, just for Quinton to sneak it right at the very end.
I was managing Vino at the back and saving enough fuel and stuff to have one last blast on the last lap.
And you did. It's just for Quinton to just take it from you.
Yeah.
Because I've had extra 2 points can help. But yeah, 30 points also, you'll take it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I didn't feel like the quickest guy out there. Seeing qualifying guys in the mid 26s. I thought, yo, but yeah, funny enough, at the start, Gavin, I was behind him for a lap, and he was losing traction all over the place. He was struggling up. But
You just had a brilliant drive out of a couple of corners versus him. Because it didn't take as long as China, because you were ahead of him in no time.
Yeah, I saw a gap going in the middle sector in the second lap, and I took it, and I thought, he's gonna, try to stay my DRS. And he did for a while, and then him and Vino got battling, and that afforded me to pull a little bit of a gap. But
Yeah, and once Vino got past, it was, you two were the rest of the race.
no, we were side by side a few times, and we got the elbows out, but it was good, clean racing, and I just want to say, good race, Vino. Yeah. It was a good battle.
Yeah, unfortunately no Vino tonight in the comms box, but well done to all three podium finishers, not Kimi, not Sebastian, and Vino. Quinton, of course, just outside, but yeah, also a strong race there, so good couple of battles as well, but yeah, good clean fun, and that's what we'd like to see. So gentlemen, thank you so much for all of you out there, thank you so much for watching so much. Also for the comments there and the support. As we said, tonight we had 2 different streams going live at the same time, one on Twitch, one on YouTube, but with the same commentary. And of course, then we had not Fernando who's streaming his point of view, so actually 3 streams with one commentary box, so something new tonight. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, thank you for the support.
No, thanks for the stream, boys.
Next
Appreciate
time,
it.
next week, same time, same place, and of course, someone's favorite next week will be, of course, Italy. We're back at Monza for round 8. Same time, same place. So that's going to be some speed. So till then, everybody, take care, stay safe. Almost, hopefully, fingers crossed, not so long to go for lockdown.
We're going to Monza, and I'm a one-lap specialist. Love it.
Now that's unbelievable.
I'm gonna get pole, boys, and I'm gonna crash at Parabolica. And as you, Bladen, would say, that's unbelievable.
And on that note, guys,
Cheers, guys.
take care. Till next time.
Guys.
Cheers.
Yes, guys.